throughout the end of the fourth quarter, I thought
guys,
we
we're
generated
live
some
with
good
Joe
looks.
Mazzulla.
And then I thought we had some live ball turnovers, and they took advantage of it. So they made the necessary plays to win. We put ourselves in position to do that, and we just didn't make the plays.
You guys, two days off. How do you respond from this? This is just another blown 20-point lead. Exactly your worst nightmare. How do you come back from this?
You just take a look at it, figure out where you have to be better, and put a full 48 minutes together. So I have an understanding that it's going to be difficult, but that's why we do what we do, and figure out where we have to get better and do that.
Joe, what was the thought process with not calling timeout there with 12 seconds left?
I had one left, got a good look on the exact same play 20 seconds earlier, tried to execute the exact same thing. They did a better job of their lower pickup point, and we weren't able to get the advantage that we had on the last Tatum dunk. So good full court setting. They subbed out Towns, weren't able to sub out Brunson, had action there, and we just didn't execute.
And then but how much is the time consideration a factor there with 12, like giving yourself a couple cracks at it? If you advance the ball there potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So you don't know that at the point of JT was driving left. Thought he had a good look, saw it at an angle, didn't shoot it, and ran out of time.
Joe, just from an emotional standpoint, just how stunning is this for your team? You've come back from a lot of different things over the course of the past couple of years, but kind of where's your mindset at right now after certainly a stunning one?
Figure out where we have to be better, watch film tomorrow as a team, and move on to the next game.
Joe, you talk about poise a lot. It's 2 straight fourth quarters at home that you guys haven't been able to execute down the stretch. What has gone into that?
I'd say it's probably 60-40. I thought we executed and got some really good looks that we missed, and then I thought we had some live ball turnovers, just making the wrong read in that. So I'd say it's about 60-40, where when we got some open looks, we got to make them, and then we got to do a better job executing, especially not having live ball turnovers.
And I know this is a lot of hindsight here, but last season, you guys found a lot of ways to win close games. And then in the playoffs, you did the same. This year, when you had the rough patch, you were finding a lot of ways to lose these tough games. And that habit, for lack of a better word, seems to be coming back. Do you see a correlation there? Was there something from earlier this season where you weren't finishing games off like this that's coming back to bite you now?
I think regardless of what time of the year it is, if you don't, when you get the shot, if you don't execute it, and when you have live ball turnovers, you make the necessary plays to be able to win. It puts pressure, and you're playing against a really good offensive team that can generate the same type of shots. And I thought they made them, and we didn't tonight. And you can't turn it over in those situations either.
What have they done to force Jason into a couple of inefficient games here, and what does he need to do to combat the way they're defending him?
I think game one wasn't inefficient, as I thought he just missed some really good looks. I thought today he passed up some ones that he was able to take. And so, their switchability, their ability to impact shifts definitely impacted him tonight. So, I thought he missed some easy layups in the beginning of the game. I thought he missed a couple there in the third quarter. But, they do a good job. OG Anunoby's a good individual defender, and they have good shifts and help behind.
Joe, what went behind Hack and Mitch to put them into the bonus, and then they just simply pulled him out and put Anunoby in?
He's a plus 21, and he's really effective for them. And, that's something that we need to do. We need to do a better job in those minutes, is be more effective when he's on the floor.
What?
So
plus 19, sorry.
So it's just kind of basically getting him off the floor. Like that was the...
If you can, yeah. We have to do a better job of offensively attacking him, attacking the team when he's in. And, obviously he poses a threat on the offensive end with his offensive rebounding. So we got to do a better job winning those minutes for, him to be plus 19. He's one of the reasons why they were able to win the game tonight.
Similar to that, Joe, do you look at the result there, kind of what follows that and take that into account? Or do you generally kind of feel like that's the right approach in that situation, is to get him off the floor and foul him there?
What do you mean?
Like they go on a run at, Towns goes at right after that and gets a 3-point play. They end up winning the game right after that. Do you see that as related, or do you kind of see?
No, it has nothing to do with it. On the 3-point play, there was a pin and screen for Brunson. We just had a miscommunication. He sent 2 at the ball, and then Josh Hart got a layup, and then that led to a Towns offensive rebound. So that those two things don't go together.
So you're good with the decision to foul Mitch there?
Yeah. He's a plus 19. All their starters were in the negative.
Nah, they got him spinning right now.
You stay even killed after losses. Like it's just on the
I
next at the
believe
same
Joe,
time. Like
I
no one
see you.
likes losing. Is there any part of it that like can use that frustration or the anger after a loss to like go into the preparation of the next game, or is it a completely like clean slate after a game like
I mean, you're down 2-0 heading on the road, so you have an understanding of your environment, what you're up against. There's also obviously a lot of things that we're doing well, but then there's things that we need to be extremely better at in those situations. So, obviously you have an understanding of the environment. You're down 0-2, so we got to get on the road and we got to find a way to win.
Joe, you mentioned that Jason was passing up some shots early on. Did you feel like the 63s from game one, or maybe kind of they overcorrected a little bit? And did you feel like anything about the 20-point lead with 4 minutes to play? Like there was a little bit of that looming memory that that lead was blown in game one. Like, did you feel like there was any impact?
I don't think so. No, I think he just tries to make the right play or the right read on each and every possession.
Joe, on the live ball turnovers and misses in the fourth, do you feel like that's some inefficiency on your group's part, or do you feel like the Knicks are also obviously taking things away and making them difficult?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give them credit. They're a well-coached, good team. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's both. I think it's on us. It's on me. Call better plays. It's on them, our guys, to make better reads. And obviously, the Knicks are doing a good job defending us.
Joe, the fact that you guys were so terrific on the road this year.
I was waiting
after
for this
these two losses, only the third time in it.
You got it right where you want him, Joe.
Do you take solace in the fact that your team almost has played better? They have played better on the road.
They have played better.
I mean, just take solace in the fact that we got a chance. We have a challenge ahead of us, and we got a chance to go after it together, and we got to do it. So we don't really have a choice, and just got to figure it out.
Obviously, the way these losses transpired, it's unusual to have the two 20-point leads in late in the second half. How do you avoid, a mental fracture from that and not let something like this affect guys' mindset and kind of focus moving forward?
I mean, I don't think that'll happen. I just kind of trust the type of guys that we have. At the end of the day, we got to just find a way to win. Done it before. We just got to, continue to try to do that. Thank you.
So that was Joe Mazzulla. I'm John Zannis. This is Sherrod Blakely. We are here doing the Garden Report Postgame Show, which officially starts now.
Hard Hat's all about showing up to play hard, doing what it takes to win.
If you want to cement legacy, win another.
He's your third center.
You don't want to pump him up too much, but it's hard not to.
This is maybe the most I've ever agreed with you.
So there we are, guys. We are back with the actual start of the show as the Celtics lose 91-90, game 2. Almost unimaginable, unfathomable. I'm supposed to be on this side.
There you go.
I'm so out of sorts.
At least you made an in-game adjustment, which I appreciate.
There's not a big enough pie to slice tonight because everyone deserves 100% slice. And this is what's insane to me about this game. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I want to go so many places with it. I don't know where to begin. So I'm not going to curse yet. I'm absolutely lost right now on where to start with this one. So, I mean, you all saw it. Everyone was bad. Everything was bad.
Everyone.
Complete system failure from the offense to two plays I'm going to bring up in a little bit that I thought were entirely emblematic. And I absolutely think people need to go after them for this. You talk about margins. I'm gonna look. You played like ass. You couldn't score. Very 2022 Celtics. The whole thing was bad. Porzingis, I don't know what's going on there, Sherrod. I don't understand it.
Dramatically wrong with him. He should not have been out there.
Different human, didn't belong out there. I don't know what they were doing in the second half. I didn't like it. I texted those guys. saying I got bad vibes about tonight, and they still got the lead up to 20. This game was impossible to lose, and somehow they lost it. So let's get your thoughts to start, guys. Thank you guys for jumping on here for what's going to be a rage fest, I'm sure, but I don't know, man. I don't know where to go with this. These are not the Celtics. This doesn't resemble anything we've seen in 2 years.
Well, the thing, John, that jumps out to me out of both of these games is that there are moments in the game where the blueprint to get the hell out of here and get the win.
We got Knicks fans in here. That's fine. Bring it, guys. You deserve it. Go ahead, Sherrod.
They figure out what they need to do to win, and then they decide at some point in the middle of the third quarter, all of the fourth, we're going to win on our terms. We're not going to do the things that were working. Like they were playing bully ball for a lot of this game. And that bully ball was getting them shots around the paint, and that opened up things where they're catching shots around the three-point line in rhythm as opposed to being wide open, which clearly wasn't working. It was as if whatever they could possibly do to go back and put themselves in Losersville, they did. We're going to start jacking threes. We're going to start turning the ball over. We're not going to pick on Jaylen Brunson. We're going to pretend as if Karl-Anthony Towns is a scrub, which he's not. OG, keep shooting like you're doing. Bridges, we're going to leave you wide open in the corner, which is the only spot on the floor that you're a legitimate threat to score from. And Josh Hart, we're still not going to box you out because for whatever reason, we just don't think that's necessary. This was maybe the worst loss of the Joe Mazzulla era. I feel like this is what, like, for example, if let's say Joe Mazzulla decided to never coach again tomorrow, and we go through and look at all the highs and lows, this will be at the top of the low list.
It's bad. I don't know.
Brutal.
I don't want to make this about Joe Mazzulla and his press conference. I don't know what the hell he was talking about there.
He doesn't know what he was talking about.
You can tell when Joe is shook, and he's shook right now because he doesn't have answers because his formula isn't working. And like, look, we know the 3-point formula, and there's more to Joe Mazzulla than that. I actually think he's an extremely smart basketball mind. But there's a lot of trust in the players to do stuff and to make the right reads. But when they're not, that's kind of when you have to step in. And I was reluctant to give him a large piece of the blame pie last game. And Jimmy, articulated very well why he thought he deserved it. And I changed my thinking here. I think the coach is usually low hanging fruit. I think when everything goes to hell, it's up to you to figure something out. And you can't sit here and fumble around in press conferences and say, I don't know. I thought we got good looks. It was 60-40. 60-40 is horrible. If you do a good thing 60% of your possessions, you're going to lose every NBA game.
And it's even more pronounced when you're talking the playoffs.
In the playoffs, a 60-40 fourth quarter is a disaster. It's a disaster. And I know he doesn't want to call out his team, but you got to call out your team because individually right now, none of them are doing it. Al Horford had a really rough game after playing great last game. Holiday's out there making winning plays. Derek White saved you with some threes. Peyton Pritchard, hit a couple of big ones when you needed them. But your best player was one of the worst players on the floor again. And nothing changed in terms of approach, how they would figure it out, how they might scheme things open, try to do different things. I don't know what happened tonight. All I know is the people who you count on were the ones who let you down the most here. And it's crazy.
You're going to New York with no sense that you can turn this around because they have literally Xeroxed the first two games and how they're going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
No matter how big your lead is, this New York team is confident that they're going to.
And I got to
track you down.
There's New York Knicks fans in the chat. Guys, we're not impressed. Like, it's you're not like New York's not doing anything great. They're defending well. I think the Celtics are a little bit thrown off by that because they just came off the Orlando series thinking no one's going to defend like this. Right now, Tatum's in his own head. He doesn't know if he should pull up for three today. I think he heard the voices saying he's shooting too many threes, and all he did was settle for middies all game long. He's having a difficult time getting past single defenders. He's making very bad rim reads. He was trying. It wasn't for most of the game, but then you could see classic second half offense affects defense and everything fell apart. So I want to highlight, you can have these games where it's clunky, you miss shots, all of that stuff. It happens. It sucks. That's the story of the game. They didn't make a field goal for 8+ minutes and they lost the game. I'm going to highlight 2 plays that stood out to me above all else. One, first of all, at the end of the third quarter, and again, they got this lead back, but at the end of the third quarter, they're just giving stuff away, possession after possession, where they're just making bad decisions, sloppy turnovers, 3 straight negative Porzingis plays, one on a lob to him, one on the offensive foul on the pick and roll that didn't work there, and another where he tried a silly tap back from way far away where he just needed to bring it down and go back up. He's 7'3", 20. They had a shot at a 23-point lead there with Derek White back-to-back threes, and it ended up being 12, and they whittled that away. They get it back up to 20. The 2 plays stand out to me like crazy. There was one scramble for a loose ball when the game had gotten to like 4 or 5 points. And what happens? Anunoby hits the deck for it, and Jason Tatum is going at it at the same time, makes a business decision, and avoids it. Does not hit the ground, does not hit the floor. Anunoby does. He comes up with the loose ball. Knicks go the other way, and they score in transition. Then also later in the game, ball goes up. Again, Celtics have the lead. Ball goes up, bounces. Jaylen Brown stares. They stare at it as it falls to the floor. Knicks get the ball. They score. They take the lead. Margins. These are margins. These are horrible, horrible plays. So again, you can shoot poorly, but when the other team outworks you to loose balls with the game on the line, you deserve all of it. That's the stuff that's inexcusable, okay? Inexcusable. And I watched it. So yeah, it affected them to the point that you're not even hustling. You're not laying it on the line. Absolutely. Like I said, there's so many things in my head right now because I took like the most ridiculous amount of notes watching this game. And I probably tweeted 75,000 times because there were so many moments throughout the whole thing that they just kept letting it get away from them over and over and over again. Every shot that they took was forced and contested. They didn't work the ball. They didn't get good looks. They didn't run in transition off of misses. They literally checked every box for everything that you could do wrong for an entire quarter. And Joe didn't stop it.
And that's and John, that's my biggest issue with Joe. When your team is playing not like itself, they're having this kind of out-of-body experience all freaking game. You as a coach have to be the one to intervene. That's kind of your job. That's literally when you're supposed to be the most involved and engaged. When your team is not performing, they're not playing. It's not about making shots and knocking down threes. It's their DNA. It's the identity from which they were playing was completely 180-degree difference than what they normally do. And Joe spent most of this game watching it like we were. But the big difference is we don't have any control over impacting that and tweaking it, and he does. This was, like I said, this was the worst Joe Mazzulla coach game in his tenure here, because it felt this was the one game where all the things that we have come to know about him as a coach, the things that he does well, none of that was on display. He didn't make any really legitimate in-game adjustments. He did not, frankly, take the pulse of his team and at least make some effort to get them back on track at all. And you're right, John. Most of the time when you have these kind of games, it is overwhelmingly on the players. But again, this was a second straight game where his team played out of character and a second straight game where you didn't feel, you didn't see, you didn't hear any type of sense of urgency for him to get them out of that space. You can't win another title doing this. Hell, you can't even win a game at this point doing this.
You cannot. Yeah, so this is bad. You're down 0-2. You're heading to New York. Obviously, the Celtics have been a great road team, but right now there's just too many things all at once that are a problem. And people are sending me stats here. Celtics first team in the play-by-play era. Yeah, 96 to what? To lose 2 games when leading by 20 points in a single postseason. I mean, all of this stuff. We know it. There's going to be a lot of these first to whatever situations here. Just to give you a heads up what's happening, Jimmy Toscano is going to be joining the show momentarily. We've got a live podium feeding in from Boston, where we're going to hear from more Celtics as they talk about what happened tonight. Noa Dalzell and Bobby Manning are at the Garden right now doing their post-game interviews. They will also join us. Massive audience in here right now. So for those of you tuning in for the first time, we are CLNS Media, Garden Report, Sherrod Blakely, longtime Celtics and NBA reporter covering the Pistons and the Celtics for, I don't even want to tell people how long.
Long time.
Sherrod and I worked for the Celtics, sort of worked for the NBC.
A portion of us did.
At NBC Sports Boston, along with Jimmy Toscano as well. And obviously Bobby and Noah are current beat reporters on the beat. So we're there. Sherrod and I were both at the game. We rushed home because it's easier to do the shows from here. So we had we were there en masse. I was doing pregame. I don't know if you saw it. We did pregame on the street live outside. It was fun. It was fun. A quick shout out before we get moving. I want to tell everybody about our sponsor here at the Garden Report, and that's Prize Picks, #1 daily fantasy sports app in all of North America. Put your sports opinions to work here. Pick more, pick less on 2 or more players. Doesn't matter. Different sports, different games, different teams. Win up to 1,000 times your cash. No better time to get in on the action than now. The basketball playoffs are underway. You've also got hockey playoffs and baseball season in full swing. So again, check it out here. Awesome deals. Keep looking for different promotions in addition to the one that you see on the screen here, which is download the app, enter code CLNS. You see it right there. Play 5, get 50 instantly in your account. Once again, Play 5, get 50 instantly when you download the PrizePicks app. Use code CLNS. Great offers and deals. As we said, free squares, free promotions, Taco Tuesday, Freaky Friday. So check it out. Log in. Get in on the action right now. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. PrizePicks. Run your game. Back to the game itself here. And I guess I'll start with Tatum. Look, one bad game. This is the most baffling thing about Jason Tatum, and I can't quite figure out what's going on here, to the point that everyone's like, is he hurt? It's not a coverage thing. This isn't Dallas where they threw a bunch of bodies at him, double and triple teaming. They're playing him straight up. He's not beating his man. Doesn't matter who switched on to him. He's opting for bad shots. He's getting muscled away from the paint. Even if it's Brunson or Cat or Mitchell Robinson, he can't get where he wants to go. Settling for the pull-ups. Definitely felt that he took too many threes. So tonight he just kind of leaned into the fadeaway, tough 2. Almost every shot he took that wasn't an uncontested dunk was extremely high degree of difficulty. Really tough. But what's baffling here is after hurting his wrist and missing game 2 in the Orlando series, he scored 30. He averaged 36 points a game over 3 games and was playing some of the best ball we'd seen him play, not just in terms of generating his own offense, but making it work for everybody. He's not doing anything for anyone right now. And that's what's baffling. And obviously the assist numbers are going to be down when you shoot 30-something% as a team, which the Celtics did again tonight. But I don't know what I'm missing here. This isn't like a lower body injury or something that's affecting him. We know that the wrist thing had happened and he seemed fine. I don't know if that's flaring up or he's just playing badly right now.
Yeah, it feels, just watching him play and watching him move, that he's just in a mental lull right now. Where just for whatever reason, he's just not mentally processing the game to make the right play, make the right decision.
Hi, Jimmy.
Be the impact player that he's in Jason Tatum shooting from 3 mode there.
Jimmy's coming up with he's doing a merch plug right out of the gate. He's 25.
No, this isn't a merch plug. This is how I feel right now. I cannot watch this team. I cannot watch this performance. I got to put the sleep mask on and I wish I could just go in a REM stage right now.
Jimmy, the game is over. The game is over.
I'm going to be staring at the ceiling for the next 6 hours tonight once this show is over, because I'm so damn dumbfounded, confused, flabbergasted, annoyed, angry, frustrated.
That's pretty good, homeschool.
I could keep going. How many synonyms do I need to give to explain how damn disappointed? I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Oh,
That's
those are the killer words.
No, I'm
Except
angry.
I'm angry too, so it's actually worse. It's actually worse. We're 25 minutes in, and again, apologies for being a little bit late, but I was tuning into you guys as I scrambled to get up here in time. And co-sign a lot of things what you guys have to say, and I know that you've gone on about Tatum, rightfully so. This is Tatum's opportunity, right? I mean, this was his chance to shut up the rest of the NBA world, the rest of, basketball Twitter, the haters, the doubters, the people who were laughing at him after he won a championship and after he made Team USA. But unfortunately, it's just getting worse and worse and worse for this guy. Every time he makes the playoffs, his legacy gets worse. I don't know what it is, but tonight was just unacceptable. Another word, unacceptable. Against a Knicks team that is not known, certainly not known for their defense, not in the way the Magic were. And you score, 90 points? What was the final? 90? 91? I mean,
91-90, yeah.
What are we even talking about at this point in the season? This is a completely different team. And I know that they're a little bit banged up, and Jaylen Brown can't save the day like he did on numerous occasions last year for the Celtics team, especially in the playoffs. But Jason Tatum, if he's player A and he's the alpha and he's the superstar and he's, Sherrod likes to say, call him top 5 Tatum. This is the time
this
when
isn't even top 55 Tatum.
No, not even close. But this is when legends are made, not in the regular season, not the MVP. The MVP means nothing if you go out in the playoffs and you get knocked out or you don't show up and this is where legacies are born. This is what people care about. This is what the fans care about. This is why we have so many people in the chat right now or on the show watching right now, is because the playoffs matter. 82 games, John and Sherrod, we sat here and we tried to find things to talk about and we tried to find things to care about and to get mad about and to be happy about. But we all knew that the only thing that really mattered is what team was going to show up in the playoffs. We didn't have a lot of concerns in the regular season, even though they dipped pretty heavily right around January. We said none of it matters. All that matters is who shows up in the playoffs. They got to just get healthy. They're the only team that can beat themselves. Well, what are they doing? They're beating themselves, right? You can't tell me. I'll give the Knicks some credit. I know we have a lot of Knicks fans in here. And the Knicks deserve credit. They were written off before the series even started. Bobby had him in a sweep. I think Bobby had him in 3 games, actually. A lot of people did. And so I'm giving them credit, but I'm also not going to say that the Knicks have any business being up 2-0 on the Celtics team. The Celtics are a lot of this they're doing to themselves. If you go up 20 points like they have in both games now, this is now a you problem if you can't figure out a way to close these guys out.
Yeah. So, well said. Welcome, Jimmy Toscano, to the show. And thank you guys.
And by the way, sleep masks are for sale.
We'll get to that in a little bit. We got 3,500 people here on YouTube hanging out, which is incredible. A ton of super chats coming in as well. So again, thank you guys. You can support the Garden Report Postgame Show through super chat donations. Again, people popping in here for the first time and a lot of Knicks fans taking a victory lap. You deserve it.
You deserve it.
And we welcome you in here. We will say only rules, be civil. Don't insult other people in the chat or the people talking on the screen, even though we can take it. Be nice to each other, but by all means, gloat, take a victory lap, talk trash, all you want. We're happy to have you here, but don't spam the chat. Okay, that would be the last one. Leave a comment. That's fine. We'll put them up there on the screen, as many as we can. Don't spam the chat, but you can support the Garden Report Postgame Show with super chat donations, and we have an insane amount of them right now, and we really do appreciate you guys. So I'm going to start at the beginning. We're going to rip through a few of these. Then we're going to talk about Kristaps Porzingis and hear from Kristaps Porzingis because I don't understand what's going on there as well. We have to because we have to know.
I'm tired of this guy.
Goat. What do I have to do to get Tatum off the team? Just tell me, I'll do it. Might be an overreaction, Goat.
Wow. Who's that? Noah's burner?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Noah does hate Tatum. Can we agree that Joe doesn't have set plays? It's the same set every time. No movement, no play to get an easy bucket. I mean, Mazzulla has flat out said he's letting the players read and react to things.
Yeah.
I mean, timeout again. No timeout again.
And he trusts.
He said. I mean, he said in his postgame that the play that they call where Tatum got the just straight line drive, they went with that right after that, and it's just like you didn't think the Knicks would adjust literally seconds after they gave up an uncontested layup. You're gonna go with the same thing. Interesting.
Yeah. We are rich, by the way.
Did you guys talk about the last play? Because I wasn't.
I'm ripping through some super chats, Jimmy, so we will in a minute.
Do that first.
Yeah, let me get through some of these. Sherrod.
Did we get rich on that last super chat, by the way, or no? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we did.
Nigerian? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Say no more. Keep going. All right. Next.
This series is Benjamin Imar. This series is over. Blow it up and rebuild. I will say.
Wow.
Bill Chisholm, the low key happiest guy in America right now is Bill Chisholm. If the Celtics go down in flames, looking like chumps, to the Knicks here in round 2, boy, does it make that rebuild a lot easier in this offseason right now.
Every loss, he's saving how many millions?
Yeah. Hacking Mitchell, so we have no fouls to give in clutch time is so dumb. Why are we afraid the guy's trash? This might have been, maybe there's something I'm missing that I'll find out after and regret this take. But honestly, not only one of the dumber decisions I can remember, but also one of the dumber explanations from Joe Mazzulla saying they did it to get him off the court. They gave 2 fouls away to Mitchell just to have him subbed out. And Tibbs is like, thanks. And then you foul Brunson on the last possession of the game.
And they're in the bonus for the rest.
And they're in the bonus.
So
I mean, that's a like fire him up, like come up to my office and give me your gun and badge. You're no longer on the force, sort of thing. So that to me is incredible. Rolland 24. Imagine Joe coaching Shaq. I'm sure you just tell him you're open, go for it, good shot. Again, Brad, I'll tell you this, guys, because people do forget it. That was Brad Stevens' philosophy, too. While we sat here and screamed about players who can't shooting, like Marcus Smart taking 10 threes in a game. And his philosophy was, I don't ever want to tell a guy not to shoot it because then he's not going to have confidence when we need him to shoot it. So this isn't
got to be a way to
this isn't faith in the Celtics to shoot. It's faith in them to make the right decision. And they have the green light to shoot all the time. That's what he's empowered them to do.
There's a difference between being a coach and being an enabler, John.
Yeah. You're right. C's deserved this. Pet peeves, too many Knicks fans at the game. There were quite a few. And TNT uses Knicks announcers. C's got fouled when they attacked the hoops down the stretch. Those are lots of thoughts. You got your money's worth on that one, actually.
Wow. Too many Knicks fans at the game. Well, Celtics fans are selling their tickets.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Exactly.
Where are the ticket holders at?
Yeah. This has Brian Defayette. Absolutely 2023 feels. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yes. Yes, spot on.
Oof.
Spot on.
Shivers down my spine when you said that.
Yeah.
Up 20, both games in the third. Game 1, not enough.
No cap 757, in my opinion, has a lot to do with the Shams thing that they're breaking up the team. No. Personally, I think Shams hadn't come up with anything in a while, and they said we need something, so he just manufactured the story that we already knew. People are saying that the Celtics, who have a $280 million tax bill, might have to move some players. We know that. I don't put a lot of stake in this. This was frustrating as hell.
Listen, these guys, they're professionals. They have to block out that stuff. So I don't buy that.
Yeah.
But thank you for super chat.
Yep. Zach P. Yeah. He goes coast to coast and he dunks there. Didn't that seem easy?
It look so easy? Yeah, it looks so easy.
And then here it is, Jimmy. I'll tee you up for this one, and we'll get to more super chats later. We're going to end on our friend here, John Harrop, a longtime viewer and a contributor here, chats with us on Twitter as well, and is here taking in the show. I'm sick. No timeout. Tatum scored his last 4. Look, they've talked about this before about not using the timeout, and it's worked in some instances because you don't want the other defense to set. You want to catch him off guard a little bit and go. But then you just went into Tatum just dribbling around and trying to take a horrible shot. And he got smoked on it.
Yeah.
It's a hindsight situation, Jimmy, but you wanted to talk about it, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a hindsight situation for me because if you were watching the game with me, you would have heard me screaming,
"Call timeout!
Timeout! Call a timeout! You had one. You did this. Yes, you did. Yeah, exactly, Sherrod. You did this in game 1. You didn't call a timeout, and you got bailed out by foul with 3 seconds left, and the Knicks had one to give. So then Joe called the timeout, and you only had 3 seconds to work with. This time, you would have had a timeout with 13 seconds left, advance the ball to half court, drop anything you want. Joe's obsessed with making sure that the Knicks don't substitute, their defensive stalwarts into the game. You're the Boston Celtics. Your 5 guys should be an advantage over their 5 guys, regardless of who they have out there. take some time, settle down, drop a play, get a good look, get a shot off, and give yourself an opportunity for a rebound if you get the shot off early enough. By doing what they did, they wasted like half of that time running up the court. Jason Tatum dribbled, and he got a horrible baseline fadeaway off balance. I don't even want to call it a shot because I don't even think it had a prayer. But you got basically no opportunity. You could have at least gotten yourself a shot off the inbounds, chance for an offensive rebound, and another shot, maybe draw a foul. So many different opportunities they would have had they called that timeout and draw something up. Again, what is your purpose? Draw up the play. Get the players all on the same page, not run around scrambling with the one guy who was off all night, just taking the ball and just freelancing with it. There's no Celtics basketball, there's no ball movement. There's
beyond
no
that
beauty of the game.
Beyond that, you're supposed to, when you're down, the book says when you're down one, you got to try to get that shot off faster.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's the point. So you got to call a timeout and advance the ball.
Get the offensive rebound
so you can set something up to either get the offensive rebound or foul with a chance. And that's there. So you get.
He was asked about that, and he bobbed and weaved around it.
You could have, John. You could have inbounded it, advanced the ball to half court, inbounded it, got a clean look off of some sort of inbounds play. I'm not going to sit here and try to drop a play for them. Get the shot off.
I wish you would.
You make it. No, Bobby will do that. Or Noah. You'll make the shot. Great. You missed the shot, like you said, John. Chance for an offensive rebound, or you foul with, let's call it 6 seconds left, right? If they got a shot off and off the inbounds.
So then they're shooting free throws.
6
and
seconds.
You got to make a three.
Exactly. You just give yourself another opportunity to tie it up. I'm not saying it's likely, but it's a chance. It's a chance.
Yeah.
You did not give yourself a chance by doing what you did.
Right. And there wasn't a whole lot of sense to go the way they did based on how the game was playing. It would be one thing if, let's say, Tatum was cooking, they got back into the game, and you've got that opportunity to give him one more shot to knock down a big bucket. But that just wasn't the case. He had the straight line drive, but that was one of the few complete, total New York Knicks mental breakdowns defensively all game. And so you could not possibly have thought that you were going to get that same straight line drive to the basket right after that, and yet they did think that. I just don't get. I don't get the thought process that went in this game, particularly down the stretch. You play bully ball in the first half. You get shots around the rim. You get some good looks from 3-point range, and then you just decide, okay, that was nice for the first half. We're going to go back to what we did in game one.
To this comment here, I have nothing but respect for OG. I think he's great physical defender. He's got Tatum shook. He can't.
And nobody talked about him going in.
He can't get around him. You know what happened? Because Tatum cooked both wings. Also, I mean, OG was, I don't know if he played in every game, but I mean, Bridges
missed one of them.
Bridges didn't show out on defense in any of the matchups really against these guys, and that's one of the reasons that they got him is they needed extra wings specifically to contend with the Celtics. It's working right now. They got again Brown. I don't know if you call him limited or not. In the first half, he looked explosive, and then in the second half, every single time his left hand touched the ball, it went to the Knicks. We're going to hear from Jaylen Brown right now.
Questions.
Jaylen, with the way these first two games unfolded and now going back to New York down 2-0, what will you guys lean on as you try to turn this series around?
Each other. It's an opportunity to show what we made of. Obviously, we wouldn't like to be in this position, but we're here now, so we got to respond.
Jaylen.
20, but when Brunson hits the second free throw, were you surprised you guys didn't call a timeout? And then you still had the timeout when Jason looks like he was stopped in the drive.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how the game went, I guess. They made a tough defensive read at the end. And, yeah, we just wasn't able to convert in the fourth quarter. That's what it came down to. Our defense, I thought, was great. We had physicality. We had energy on defense. Our offense let us down.
Jaylen, you guys are the defending champs. These are the games you're supposed to, you're up 20, you're up 12 with 6 minutes to go, you go 8.5 minutes or so without scoring a basket. I hate to say it, but like you guys are supposed to find ways to score. These are the moments that they're the ones that look like they're playing with the poise, and you guys aren't.
He's getting
And
scolded.
why that's happened now 2 games in a row at home.
I'm not sure. We've gotten to great starts. We guarded, played physical with energy today. To start the fourth quarter, I thought we got like 4 or 5 great looks in a row that didn't go in, and maybe that affected us. But what's done is done. Now we got an opportunity to see what we made of, and come out and try to make something happen. Game 3.
We talk about habits.
Jaylen. We're disappointed.
Season. Last year, you guys built the habit. You found ways to win close games throughout the course of the regular season. That carried through. This year, you guys weren't winning those close games earlier in the season. Now it's kind of feels like it's coming back to bite you guys. Is there any kind of like look back on what you guys went through earlier? Is that kind of carrying over into the postseason at all?
Yeah, I mean, the regular season is totally different. So than the playoffs, obviously you can see that. But we just had the ability to make plays tonight, and we didn't. Me, Jason, Derek, we got a lot of great looks, and we just got to convert. We got to make plays. We just didn't make plays tonight. And that was the story of the game. Our defense did enough. We got some great open looks.
Cavs fans taking victory laps.
We got to convert those.
That's tough.
That's funny, though.
I love
you
it.
took a moment kind of at your locker there in the locker room. Just wondering kind of what you were processing in that moment, if you can share.
Unideal situation, being down 0-2. But what's done is done. We got to make sure we're ready to come out. Make sure my guys are ready to come out game 3. I think we do for a lot of makes. I think that we, had a lot of great shots tonight that once again didn't go in. We just got to, relax, take a deep breath, come out, play Celtic basketball. We can, just like we down 0-2, we can tie this thing back up.
And Jaylen, just following up on that, how do you rebound mentally from something like this when the games kind of end in very similar ways? And can you take a leadership role with the guys in that?
Yeah, obviously you take the night. Everybody's going to feel, a type of way about, kind of the result. And, we get together, we look at the film, we look at each other, and we do what it takes. We do whatever it takes. We give it our all, and that's the most important thing. But like a bunch of stuff that we can control. I feel like we played a little bit fast and sped up a little antsy. Just
Didn't play fast enough.
It's a rough night.
He looks in serious pain, y'all.
Looks like
Just
the
me.
last 6 minutes. It seems like there's kind of an
I'm in
moment,
pain.
especially when then here comes Brunson and they're closing out games and he's a closer. I mean, how do you kind of avoid that happening again, where you're just looking from behind? You're turning your head and looking at them trying to catch you as opposed to just trying to finish the race.
Yeah, I mean, just play basketball. That's it. That was it. Just convert. I felt like we got some great looks. At times, just be poised, take a deep breath, and just go out there and do what we're supposed to do. We got to be better to close games, and we got to learn and respond fast. So that's the key. Shift your mentality, shift your focus. What's in the past is over with. Let it sting a little bit, and then do whatever it takes. Game 3.
Jaylen, just kind of off of that, you guys have faced a lot of challenges over the last several years as a group. Even going further back with that, this might be your biggest challenge. What are some of the characteristics you like about this group that tells you can get right back into this series?
Yeah, resiliency, toughness. We got a great group that has stayed together through it all. So these are the moments where we need to show our resiliency. We need to show our toughness, our mental toughness. because we can get back in this thing, no question. Obviously, being down 0-2, it sucks. But we got a great group, and if I had to select any guys that can get it done, it's the group. It's the group that we have in our locker room. We just got to come out, be a little bit more poised, take a deep breath, convert our opportunities. We missed layups, easy baskets, you know what I mean, and take advantage. 2 games, we up 20 points. Somehow end up not with wins. It's inexcusable, but we're gonna learn from it. We're gonna respond.
Great.
The past 2 years, you guys have been really good at leaving the past in the past and not letting it affect the future. But at the same time, like you just said, like you lose 2 games, like there's some sort of natural frustration that might seep in. Is there any way to like harness that and put it in, or is it completely just the same mentality of leaving the past? Like, what's that sort of balance? I know you mentioned guys processing things differently, but like as a team,
you definitely it should sting. Let it sting. Let it sting for the night, and then tomorrow's a new day. You move forward. Short-term memory. Going into a tough New York environment, we don't have time to dwell on the past. The next focus is Game 3, so let's do it.
That was Jaylen Brown. Let's see if he's limping a little bit. I can't tell. We'll ask the guys down there what's going on. Anyway, Brown accountable as usual, and that's that. As the whatever.
Great. What's accountable going to get you?
Nothing.
Is accountable going to get you a win?
Yeah.
Just take a deep
breath.
breath.
Accountable on the court. Be accountable on the court.
Yeah. Accountable, and $6 gets you a cafe latte. But yeah, they lose. The Celtics lose.
Yeah.
91-90. Welcoming in a crap ton of people into this postgame show. And again, Knicks fans absolutely coming in here, and I'm curious. They're happy.
Numbers are climbing.
Celtics fans off a ledge here. From Celtics fans in the chat who aren't worried or feel okay about it, let us know what you think. Here, as far as this stuff is concerned.
Delusion.
Because here's the thing: if they lost 2 games where the Knicks played lights out, or Celtics had a good process, missed some shots, and it was just, oh, okay, Knicks are a good basketball team, it went that way, you would think they could figure it out. I don't like how they're playing at all. And Jimmy, I texted you and Bobby at halftime. I got bad vibes. I didn't like the flow. Didn't like the way they were playing. There's too many things not working right. And that includes Tatum struggling or being taken off his game by the Knicks defenders, not able to beat anybody off the dribble or get to his spots or get the type of shot that he's looking for, resorting to high degree of difficulty stuff. Even in game 1 where he hit his shots early, they were all contested. He just hit them. So that wasn't great. Brown came out great to start tonight. I thought he might save them because he legitimately looked like he had a little bit more spring and a little bit more bounce, and he was embracing the physicality, which was important because they didn't do that. And Sherrod's texting me during the game, paint touches. They were getting some good looks because they were getting the ball into the paint a little bit, which they didn't really do at all, certainly in the second half of last game. But it's just not there. It's just off. Something's off about it. And a lot of it, again, you've got a serious Kristaps Porzingis problem right now because we talked about whether Jaylen Brown, who we all know was limited because of an injury entering the postseason, is he going to do more harm than good if he plays? Like, what's he going to look like? And really right now, he's just an 80% version of himself. Like, good, not great. I don't see the takeover games coming where he could just carry Tatum if he has an off game, though it looked like it in the first half there. But now you've got this with Porzingis, and one of the most inexplicable, strange turns I've ever seen. There was nothing about what was going on with Kristaps Porzingis through the back half of the regular season after he got through his weird illness where he missed 8 games that made you think, KP's, I'm worried about KP entering the playoffs. He was fine. Right. He was playing well. Like, there was nothing to be concerned with at the end of the regular season. He was fine. And he's not right now. And
not even close.
Can't quite figure it out. For April, he averaged 22 points a game. He shot 41% from 3. He was, I don't get it. Like, he was fine. And all of a sudden, we find out he's got an illness that he's been battling since March that never really went away. It flares up again. Looks like he's got a problem with his calf that he's been
You're talking
stretching
about
out.
Kristaps Porzingis?
Yeah, exactly. Really good. Good
sure.
one. Make the t-shirts, Jimmy. And he's off and he's frustrated and he's battling and he knows it. And here he is after the game. And this is Porzingis always has always can put a positive spin on things. He looks, I caught a little bit of this while we were doing something else here. He looks really, really beaten here and really despondent. Take a listen.
Offensively at the end of the third and
I don't know. We just
Oh my God.
didn't get the best looks maybe. We did have some open ones also. But again, we didn't shoot up to our level from the three again. And you could see by how low the was in the game. Just at the end, it's almost a gamble if the game is that close, and just didn't go our way.
What happened in the game one after the come there? What were you feeling out there that night, and was it similar to me?
Yeah, I'm dealing with some, I don't know how to call it, but I'm just not feeling my best. I'm not feeling my best at all, but it's just it kills me inside that it's happening in this moment, and I have what I'm super appreciative about is about the support that I have in the inside, also probably from the fans, but especially here inside the organization, in this tough moment for me, to not be able to be with you guys, it's not no injury or nothing, but just not feeling my best, and it's tough for me honestly, but who cares? We still nobody feels sorry for us, sorry for me, and we have to keep going.
Is it related to the previous illness?
Probably. Yeah. I've had ups and downs throughout up until this point. Just now had a big crash now. My energy, my everything hasn't been good, but who cares? And I have to look forward, and it will get better from this point on.
¿Qué hecho también este equipo de Knicks que les ha complicado cerrar los juegos?
La verdad que se nos complicó. Good question. Similarly, I would say, just I don't have the answer, honestly. I don't have the answer. Just a little bit of execution here and there. Some couple missed shots here and there. A couple things go their way, and it just adds up, and it's this result. It's going to be, I'm going to probably look at it, and again, we analyze how we could have done a better job, but it's just all throughout the game. We could have probably shot the ball better, did this better, and then we pull away even more, and hung around and similar results. So it sucks really bad right now, but we got a lot of basketball to play, and let's see where this goes.
All right, we're back. Kristaps Porzingis there, admitting that something's not great, and he's powering through it. Jimmy questioned his toughness for coming out and not playing in Game 3. I will say, Jimmy, he probably game one rather. I will say, Jimmy, that he probably shouldn't have come back in the game in Game 1. He probably shouldn't have played tonight.
It's pretty clear. Yeah, I mean, if I had a hard hat on tonight, I'd tip my cap to him. I'd hit the hard hat for him. But for playing through whatever he's got going on. By the way, shout out to my mom. That was my mom's nickname. So poor sickness, but we'll still make the t-shirts. But
they called her that.
No, that's she.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, she'd play through anything. She'd play through it. I'll tell you that right now, knowing my mom. But I'll say this about Porzingis. I don't like commenting on what somebody's going through. If all joking aside, a sickness or an illness, I don't want something to come out later and feel like a jerk about it. But it just sucks. The timing of it sucks. Like you said, John, where is this coming from? He looked fine going into the playoffs. The Celtics had him in bubble wrap for most of the season. They were very careful with him. They did everything they could to make sure this guy was going to be available for the playoffs when they needed him most. And what do we also say this year? Or a lot of us said it this year. Unlike last season, the Celtics needed to be healthy in these playoffs. They weren't good enough or I should say the teams around them weren't bad enough.
Less margin for error.
Less margin for error for them to be able to get by without Porzingis or get by without Brown. We actually even did a segment. Who could the Celtics, theoretically, if they had to, win the championship without? Yeah, live without. We all picked our player. Actually, I think I picked Porzingis. But the point we also made was it's not going to be easy if that happens. And now it's starting to look that way, whether it's Porzingis playing, 50%, whether it's Jaylen Brown playing, 65%, whether it's Jason Tatum playing like friggin' Ty Lue. I don't know why I just threw Ty Lue out there. It's a total ricochet shot.
Damn.
But yeah, I know, my bad, Ty Lue, back in the day. But
That's
point I'm trying to
family
make is,
too.
yeah, I know. These guys are not the Celtics that we've been watching all this regular season, and I can't tell you why. But I'm not going to credit the Knicks for all of it. I will say this about the Knicks. They are no longer the team that everybody wrote off because they have a lot of confidence now. They're up 2-0 going to New York City. This is going to be the craziest game Madison Square Garden has seen since the 90s. Since Patrick Ewing and Allen Houston and John Starks were running up and down the court in Madison Square Garden, it's going to be the most electrifying Knicks game since the 90s. So the Celtics are a very good road team. They're going to have to be the best road team of all time to come back to Boston with a prayer in this series still. So I'm very interested to see how they come back. But going back to Porzingis, it sucks. And Porzingis, New York City will not be kind to Porzingis. So if he's dealing with flu-like symptoms, oh boy, those symptoms might get a little bit stronger going into game 3.
Since those 1990s teams that were entertaining us all with 86-point games.
Well, geez, so are these guys practically.
I know. They're really, it's the spirit of the New York Knicks is alive and well in this one. But yeah, MSG is going to be wild. It's going to be a crazy, crazy environment there. So we'll see what happens.
For sure, but
yeah, we'll see what shows up.
Celtics can't win at home. They're the worst home team I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God. Apparently there was a fire alarm.
At the hotel that the Knicks are staying at?
That went off in the Celtics, in the Garden, and everyone has to leave the building. So our live shot, where we're gonna have Bobby and Noah on, we can't get to it right now. So
You're kidding me.
No.
How is that a thing? If there was a fire in the TD Garden, you would know. You don't have to evacuate the whole damn building. And I'm a firefighter in my spare time, and I can tell you that. Okay.
So
they should just set up outside.
They're stuck. They had to leave. They left their equipment in there. They're going to go back into it. So we'll see if we can hold the line long enough to get those guys
super chats
live in there. We'll get to some more super chats because I left off. We have a lot. Colin McCall, if Celtics not hungry this year, well, I don't know, but
they better be ready for blame.
There's a reason why the last X amount of champs have gone out in the second round. I don't know if it's lack of hunger. Sometimes it's fatigue. You have 3 of these guys who played in the Olympics, so you had a really long offseason. You've got a couple of injuries now. Again, not excuses, just things that are going on. You see why it's hard to repeat. It's hard to repeat. And again, I don't think it has anything to do with hunger. I just think they're playing like ass right now. I will say, though, those 2 plays I talked about that I'm going to bring up again later did show a little bit of lack of hunger here from Tatum. Specifically not diving on the floor for a loose ball in a critical moment in the game. That's one of the most inexcusable moments from him I can remember. People want to defend every single thing that he does. He does so much. That's fine. He sucks right now. He sucked in these 2 games. He looks totally lost. He's hurting the team. He's not stepping up when they need him. And he just sat there and watched the ball hit the floor while a Knick dove. And then he did nothing, rolled over him, fell to the ground anyway. Knicks broke out in transition, 5-on-4 with Tatum just laying on his back. So he didn't even make the effort, but he fell down anyway. Brutal play. Rolland, 24. They did not shoot from 3 this year like last. That is absolutely right. It was volume, but not the same percentage. They were a better overall team. However, in the second half of the year, they shot pretty much like they shot all of last year. So they did figure that out. Their second half 3-pointers, they went from about 13th in the league to 6th or 7th overall. I can't remember where they someone's telling me there's an actual fire.
Oh shit. I take back what I said. I knew that was going to happen. It's the one time where there's actually a fire when the fire alarms go off.
All our equipment is in there, so I guess safety first. But I also hope we're
There's a
insured.
fire.
I don't know. I'm getting bad bad reports from there.
It's probably a dumpster. It's the dumpster fire that you just watched on TV for 3
An
hours.
actual the first theory was Tatum pulled the fire alarm so he wouldn't have to talk. But now there's a fire. Doc Corey, Bobby is not allowed to make any more predictions. Cosign.
Yeah,
Cosign
Bobby had-
there.
Bobby had Celtics before.
Doubling up here.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yep.
Not allowed. Miami series all over again. Feels a lot like it, right?
It does.
Unrecognizable team here.
Yeah, it does. Brunson is Butler.
This, I think, is tongue in cheek. What about his playmaking? We can't expect him to hit shots while he's playmaking. I get it. G. Morlowski, same
By the
exact game. I love this team, but holy crap. No killer mentality. They need to try harder. When up, not rest. Please get someone in there to work on their minds. Help me, John. I don't know how to help you, but I'm with you. I am.
I think this guy last game said they need a psychologist on the team, and you said they don't. But I think G. Moralowski might be right. They need a shrink. They need to lay out on the couch, get it all out there, let the shrink go to work. It might be mental. It honestly might be mental with this team. You go up 20 and all of a sudden they freeze and they start. I don't know. They
choking away the game.
Choking away the game. Stop executing the way like that. They just need to play, and it's just, it's so frustrating. The other super chat said, John, he said that green teamers were gaslighting about the 3-point shooting this year.
What does he mean?
It was the comment you read before. He's saying that the Celtics were never a really good 3-point shooting team, but green teamers gaslit us when we used to, if we criticized them for the 3-point shooting, green teamers would gaslight.
Well,
meaning,
look, this
meaning
was
they would make you feel like
no. This was a problem during the bad stretch where we're like, because that was the problem. You reached a point where you looked around before they got it, when they went in that little January, February swoon, and you looked around.
Yeah.
And all the percentages were terrible. Holidays was bad, well below what it was, the year before. Brown and Tatum were in the toilet with their 3-point percentage. Brown never really fully recovered there, all season long. So you had volume, but these guys weren't shooting even, and then, you really only had Pritchard who was shooting at or above his clip, and White. And yeah, it wasn't the same. They weren't knocking him down in the same way. And again, we joked about it last year when Golden State let Jaylen shoot threes. I would do that all game long. I mean, 100% right now. I would dare these guys to beat me the way that it's going. 2023 Celtics, and that's not good. Moss Hat. Why are the Jays still not able to play off each other? 2 perennial all-stars can't figure out how to play in crunch time. Look, this is always the way, right? This is how they play. They just
it's not going to change now.
You get this is how the team is designed to play. You get a matchup and you go to work. And then what happens. That's who they are. It's not that, it just is. And it's a drive and kick, or it's a whatever you can figure out off of that or make the right reads. But it has nothing to do with one guy versus the other guy. And then I'll ask it to this, and we'll get to some more of these later. We got to stop the BS. This is a Joe thing. Seriously. Jimmy, you are the one person that gave a huge slice of blame pie to Joe Mazzulla.
Nobody wanted to touch it.
Well,
nobody wanted to touch it.
It's not that I'm afraid to criticize Joe. I tend to agree with what Noah had said. It's low hanging fruit. It's easy to say, fix it. I always
not what I said.
And I always give the biggest slice to the players because they're the ones out there. Figure it out or go home, But this was bad, obvious, bad, like bad decisions, bad everything. A lot of bad.
Yeah, I mean, again, and this is when coaching matters more than ever in the playoffs, when it becomes a bit of a chess match, right? You've got the same team, game after game. Adjustments need to be made. Both sides are looking at the same film and figuring out what they need to do differently to adjust, whether they're building off of success or failure. Adjustments need to be made in some capacity. I'm seeing a lot of the similar things with this Celtics team in game 2 that I saw in game 1, all the way down to the freestyling at the end of the game that went absolutely nowhere. There's no direction. There doesn't seem to be much order. There's no cohesiveness. There's no ball movement. There's no leadership. There's no, like, just call the timeout and regroup. Get the guys on the same page. Get the boys going. You know what I mean? There's none of that. It feels like every player is out there in one player mode. There's none of that team basketball that we have seen at points this year when the ball was whipping around and we're making the extra pass. They were getting open looks. I'm just not seeing that right now, and I don't know why exactly. But part of Joe Mazzulla's job is, it's not my job to figure that out. It's Joe Mazzulla's job to figure that out. So that's where that's where my criticism comes in. It's not like, oh, he needs to make sure his guys are ready to go. That's part of it. But what in-game adjustments are you making? What timeouts are you going to be calling at the right point in the game? What plays are you going to draw up? What players are you going to go to? If player A is not cutting it, who's your player B? If player B is not cutting, who's player C? Where are the options that you're supposed to go to? And so that's kind of where my blame lies. I didn't give him the biggest slice last game, but I did give him a pretty thick piece because I did feel like he made a lot of mistakes. I didn't like a lot of the decision-making that he made, all the way starting with, I don't even really want to go back to game one, but you could briefly say his decision-making with Pritchard, his decision-making with Hauser, waiting to go with him in the second half, not calling a timeout down the stretch, having no plays drawn up, just the volume of three-pointers and lack of any field goals being taken inside the three-point line. Yeah, they changed that a little bit tonight. They didn't take 63s. They took 40, and they did take more two-pointers. Tatum only took, 5 threes? So he almost went too far in the wrong direction. So there were some things that were done, but again, it goes down to you're getting out-coached right now. You're getting out-coached by Tibbs or Thibs, whatever they call him now. We used to call him Tibbs. At some point, his name changed to Thibodeau. But Tibbs has his New York Knicks believing in themselves, believing in each other, playing inspired basketball, understanding their roles, knowing that Brunson's, going to get the ball in certain situations, and the guy's kind of stepping in before him. OG stepping into that huge defensive role right now. Who's the defensive stopper on this Celtics? Who's embracing that role right now? Like, who's embracing roles on this team?
Look, I thought Holiday made a lot of winning plays. I thought White did too. I actually thought the Celtics.
You're right. The guards again played well.
I thought the Celtics, even Tatum, they could be after. I mean,
Tatum had one of his worst games, man.
I rewatched the game, the game one, and it was defensive laps after defensive laps after defensive laps. Jaylen had like 5 on his own in the fourth quarter. It was really, really bad. I called out the one with the overhelping in overtime, leaving Bridges open in the corner for 3. But really, it was just bad. It was so many bad plays and bad decisions. 5 minutes, we're going to have a live shot outside the Garden where I'm told it is not a fire, but hang on, Bobby and Noah. We will not be denied. They will be live in a little bit outside the Garden with the hardest working crew in all of North America. Rich LeMay, our social media guru, down there at the Garden, lugged the entire cart of equipment down 5 flights of stairs because they couldn't use the elevator just for this live shot. So hang tight. It's going to be worth it. We're going to get Bobby and Noah's take on the game as well. It was bad, man. Bad. I'm just back. Just back to it. I thought they played well, but then when the offense went to hell, they just they started the same stuff on defense, giving up offensive rebounds, giving up open looks. Just wasn't quite the same there throughout. So I mean, look, they held Brunson in check. I mean, Brunson sucked. So, I mean, everyone's sitting here, taking victory laps over how bad Tatum was. Brunson sucked. Celtics completely neutralized him. He only got to the free throw line 4 times. They did great. Celtics guards did great on him. You got beat by friggin', Bridges got hot for 1 quarter total, but he shot 6 of 18 in the game. So give me a break with that too. Nothing great out of the Knicks offensively. It was just a total system failure for the Celtics on offense. You score 1 bucket. If you make 1 field goal in those 8 minutes, you win. So I'm not, you're going to credit the Knicks defense for doing what they did, but that's just I don't know if you'll ever see that from this team again. You really won't, which is why it still gives you hope, because I don't think the Knicks The
you
Knicks
might 2 more times.
The Knicks don't look great, right? They don't. They
No.
don't. The Celtics look really bad, and I'll credit the Knicks for making them look a little bad. But again, we just got out of a series with a better defensive team, and the Celtics were like, okay, they're not looking great, but they're good enough to beat this team. They're scoring less. They're doing worse against the Knicks here, which is really surprising because, again, you've got defensive liabilities on the court with Towns and with Brunson, and they're not taking advantage of it here. You really didn't have that with Orlando. So I'm really surprised that the Knicks are doing what they're doing. I know Tibbs threw a little wrinkle last game, so hats off to him for doing that. They switched a lot more than they normally do. They normally switch at the lowest rate in the NBA. I think it was 18%. They switched to 38% of everything that they do in that game, and that kind of gave the Celtics some problems, and they did a pretty good job defending there, but there's not a lot going on. Like, are you like watching the Knicks thinking like, oh man, Celtics are in trouble because New York is awesome?
No.
No offense to the Knicks guys in the chat. Again, you deserve to say the Celtics suck all you want and they're overrated and this and that, but you guys are not that impressive right now. Like, it's fine. Good gritty wins, but you don't look that good.
They're doing what you got to do to win. They're finding a way to win. And
they look gross.
Yeah. But that's the only way they were going to win this series, though. That's the thing about it. It has to be an not ugly, an oogly series for them. And that's what we're seeing. And I give the Knicks credit for figuring out how to keep the ball moving, how to keep the series in their favor. They know if it's a close game down the stretch, they're going to more likely to not win that game. And they're doing everything they can to tighten things up in the last 5, 6, 7 minutes. And the Celtics have aided them in that. And that's a problem. I mean, the Celtics, they need to, once they get this team under control, keep the control. It's not that complicated for what they got to do to get back in this series.
This started in the Magic series, though. Celtics are playing down to their opponent. They're not playing their brand of basketball. They're letting the opposition, in a lot of cases, dictate the style of play and dictate the way the game's going to go, instead of just running these teams out like they were capable of doing, at least against the Knicks in the regular season. And again, we know the playoffs are a completely different animal, but there's no reason the Celtics can't elevate their game in the playoffs just as their opponents have been, whether it's the Magic, whether it's the Knicks. There's no reason that they can't.
Yeah.
They've done it before.
Yeah, again, odds are against them, but again, it's not like you haven't gone down to a superior team. You've gone down to a okay team.
Right.
That's not even playing great. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here in game 3. But again, I wouldn't be, I'll put it this way. You got to feel great if you're the Knicks right now. I wouldn't be overly confident. That's all I'm saying. If you're New York, because you look like ass.
We should be more confident.
I mean, New York, you just took 2 in the opponent's building. You're on top of it.
I know.
You win game 3. Here's the thing. The margin for error is off. You look at the Miami series and it was like, can they come back? Sure. But all you need is that one shooting variance game where they go off and drain everything. And then that's a third. And then you got to play it perfect. So like Knicks catch fire. They go absolutely bananas in a game or 2. The series is over. You can't withstand those. I think we're going to get Bobby and Noah. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if you guys are good to go, and we're going to jump out and look at this level of dedication that you don't see anywhere but CLNS Media.
It looks superimposed.
It's like TJ Sorrentine from the parking lot. They're here doing live shows. Bobby, you're on TV. Stop looking at your phone.
I'm trying to get some details.
Well, I don't
On
care
what,
about
the fire?
So
Yeah.
we
It's
heard
okay.
that there was an actual fire. A couple months ago, this happened where there was a siren post game, but they just had us go through it and like just had press conferences. But this time they immediately came in and was like, everybody get out of here. We're done for the night. Players, it was like Josh Hart was walking in the hall trying to figure out how to get out. All the reporters, like literally everybody in the building. And we were all just standing here until a minute ago. And then everybody just left. So it's just us now.
Hi, guys.
And that was talking fire. Okay, let's talk about the dumpster fire that we just
Bobby,
Talking fire, yeah.
Bobby, I don't care about the fire.
I second. I co-sign John. I do not care about the fire.
I don't care about the fire. I care about your thoughts on the game.
It's still not the most shocking thing that happened in this evening. That's for sure.
Start. Go.
I was stunned. The fact that I paid out to go here. Not as many threes, not as much settling, but bad turnovers, offensive rebounds allowed, the just complete breakdown of the management of the lead between the third and fourth quarters. I mean, it's hard to compartmentalize it all like on the spot here, but I keep going back to that decision to foul Mitchell Robinson. I couldn't believe it.
What am I missing?
Yesterday. I don't know why they did it because it didn't work in the other game. This game, it put the Knicks into the bonus. It slowed the game to a halt. Towns goes right at Horford on the next possession and gets an and one. I don't understand it. I really don't. Like, why are you making such a desperate move to get a guy off the floor who's the sixth man on that team, who really wasn't making that much of an impact? I know they got back into the game a little bit, but it wasn't through Robinson. Putting Horford in some foul trouble, changing the lineups for yourself too at that point. Like, it just felt like you were losing and you had to do something like that, and they were winning. It completely changed the game on the spot.
That felt to you like an inflection point in this
game?
Yeah,
it stopped the game. It grinded it to a halt. The Knicks were thrilled. They sent OG to the scorer's table and then just home the wait there until the Celtics fouled again because they knew exactly what the Celtics were doing. Horford picks up the foul. They make the sub. And then again, Towns is lined up with Horford at that point, goes right at him, had mostly dominated him for a lot of this game, and gets an and one over him. So I just didn't understand it. Did it decide the game? No, but it just wasn't a smart thing to do at the moment. And I felt like it was distracting, and it just completely stopped the flow of the game for them.
I'll just say, I didn't really get the decision. I didn't really get Joe's rationale. I didn't feel like it had much to do with what happened here personally in this game. What I felt would happen was when they got up by 20 with 4 minutes to go, just mirror of what happened the night, 2 nights ago. You could tell that they were thinking about how they collapsed 2 nights prior. And you looked over on the Knicks side and nobody was demoralized. They weren't discouraged. They looked at each other like, let's run this back. And we just saw the most uptight Celtics basketball team that we've seen over the last 2 seasons. I mean, probably 23 is the last time you've seen a team play that uptight, but they had no poise, no joy during that stretch. And at one point they hit 3 threes in a row, the Knicks did. And it really felt like they were down by 20. And it was like, you're still up by 12. Like, it's normal to be up by 20 and have a little run. But I felt like they were looking at themselves like, we're doing this again. And I think everybody in the building felt that, and you can feel the anxiety amongst the fans. But this was a mental collapse, really, more than anything to me, than anything tactical that happened.
And I think
because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they didn't take care of the ball, live ball turnovers. They had an opportunity to put it away, and they just couldn't get it done. I don't know exactly why, kind of what they were battling, but it's not what we saw from them last year in the playoff run, where they really kept composed in these moments.
Well, I think a big part of it too was the talk between games about the threes and the twos, because in this game, it wasn't about the missed threes for me. They missed a lot of them, but it was those awful missed twos they took, especially late. Tatum ended up with a big corner 3 that he missed. He had no real rhythm throughout this game. Jaylen, he was okay, I thought, in that early portion of the game. And again, ball control late. Those guys were just forced to do too much down the stretch of this game. And the Porzingis thing threw everything haywire. I don't know what's going on there, but it's extremely concerning to me at this point. The Horford minutes were okay. They weren't as good as last game.
It was one of the less good Horford games I've seen. Karl-Anthony Towns totally took advantage of him in the post, and he didn't really find any rhythm offensively, and they kind of needed him. So he's not. We're not going to blame Horford of all people for a game, but normally he's like the reliable guy that is going to give you something, and I felt like he really didn't give you anything here.
And the one thing that could swing the series for the Knicks was Brunson being the best player in the series, and that's what he's been so far. The play to beat Holiday at the end there is just an elite play.
Guys, we're going to rush you back inside the Garden. We've been told you have clearance to go. Thank you guys for hanging out. So jump back out there.
Fire's been put out.
There, and we're going to quickly show you. This is what the setup was. This is our guys right now. This is what they're doing, okay?
See, they need the hard hats, right? Those are hard hats, guys.
That's Amit and Rich. Literally, I'm not kidding. 2 of the hardest working people on the planet, and we're lucky to have them. literally will do anything for the cause.
We love it.
We're
Ahmed's
talking
gonna
about.
be pissed. He doesn't want to be on
He
screen.
doesn't like being on screen.
That's okay.
Yeah,
We don't care.
Base is covered. He can still go through the city.
Yeah, this is amazing. So that's what they're doing. They're going to try to run back in. They'll get set up, and we'll see if we can get those guys back on there as well. I don't believe at this point we're going to get anybody else from the Celtics talking.
Tatum
But
snuck out.
yeah, I'd be gone too. I don't think Tatum waited outside in a fire drill, to not. So why are they still standing there? They're still there. I don't know why they're there.
You're right. They haven't put him back on. See what
They
happens.
haven't moved. They haven't moved. Guys, what are you doing there?
Should we go?
We didn't know you.
We
took us
didn't
off.
get
So
instructions. Are we supposed to go? Okay,
Yeah.
we're leaving.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
they
told you.
can't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
us.
That's
Hey,
what
we
he
told you to
said.
go. Yeah.
He told you to go back inside.
You guys can't hear me?
Apparently not.
Damn it. Now we got to filibuster.
Element.
Now start over. We got to start over now as they're. Let's put the picture back up and pretend that just didn't happen.
Yeah, I swear they heard me. I swear I said, guys, we're gonna let you go inside right now.
did.
But
You
they
did.
might not have had they might not have had that.
There's
Yeah,
a lot.
well,
There's a lot going on tonight.
A lot going on.
I'm not kidding. I can't speak highly enough
Saxophone guy.
of what
probably.
Ahmed and Rich did tonight. Harder work than the Celtics put in the fourth quarter. That's for sure.
Honorary hard hat goes to them.
So yeah, hold on one second. You guys carry it for a minute. I got to talk to my producers in the studio.
Okay.
So, Jimmy, was there anything even remotely positive that you could take away from this absolute dumpster fire that we witnessed tonight?
Does John know he's still on? Okay, as long as he knows he's still on.
Yeah, I'm still on.
Oh, okay. He's just gonna type away. Anything positive?
Because I'm struggling with that stuff.
I thought Jaylen Brown played okay. I mean, again, the fourth quarter aside, he didn't have one of the worst games. Jaylen Brown, I think, is doing the best that he can do right now. And I understand that he's not playing at Finals MVP level, Jaylen Brown, but I think overall he's gutting it out, and I'm less concerned about him than I am some of the other guys. That's one thing. I thought, and again, this doesn't really matter, but I thought Luke Cornett had a good bounce back game. He might have been the only guy in the plus tonight if I had to look on the Celtics. I haven't looked, but I know he was up there. He was actually somewhat effective. But again, down the stretch, they didn't go to him. He wasn't really somebody that was involved. Why is that? I don't know. Maybe that's another Joe thing. I don't know. But yeah, Sherrod, I'm going to be reaching a little bit too. And again, I thought Derek White, I thought the backcourt was fine tonight. Whether Holiday, White, again, you have the best backcourt in the NBA. And it's a damn shame that, I know I just mentioned Brown, but he's not playing at Brown level. And Tatum sure as hell isn't it either. It's a damn shame that those two guys can't carry their end of the, hold up their end of the bargain. Because I think Derek White and Drew Holiday are doing everything they can on both ends of the court to compete and to put these guys in a position. That doesn't mean Brunson's not going to still be effective and get his, but I think Derek White and Drew Holiday are making it as difficult as they possibly can. And I thought Derek White was one of the only guys tonight that you could look to offensively, as he was before. My criticism in game one is that they should have went to Derek White late in the game. But he's stuck inbound. He's stuck inbounding the ball. He should be getting the ball. They should be drawing up more plays for Derek White. He's their clutch guy. He's their Brunson. I think Derek White is the Celtics Brunson in the sense where he's kind of the clutch player on this team. I can picture more Derek White big shots than I can picture anybody else on the Celtics team this year. But when it comes down to the stretch, they don't go to him. They don't look to him. Again, it's a lot of dribbling with Tatum, and sometimes Brown. It becomes too one or two dimensional in the end. Noah mentioned it earlier too.
It's 2023 stuff. You just stop doing what got you there, and then you just go into slow prevent the prevent defense stuff. We've seen that fail so many times. It's just amazing. And they did it at times this year, and we get bailed out by big shots by Pritchard or White late in the clock on a bad possession, and then it didn't feel it as much. And it didn't happen for them. Nobody stepped up and made that big shot for them tonight. I just have to keep going back to Tatum. I'm so baffled by what's happening to him right now, because I literally don't know if I've seen him play better than that especially the last Orlando game was a near perfect game. He scored 37 points on 16 shots. Like he was insane.
John, we were saying like the table was set for him in this series.
Completely
Like,
set.
it was
And
set.
so I'm so shocked to see him thrown. And look, I'm as quick to get on Tatum as anybody. I have a difficult time believing what the numbers and everything tells me about him. I always have something. I don't see him being the type of guy that you can ride as the singular player on a team, that you just give it to me and I'll just make sure everything goes right. I've never felt he's fully that guy.
Right.
We should
but you got the sense that he, as you said, it was set for him to maybe show that he is that guy. The evolution of Tatum, the guy everybody thought he was last year or 2 years ago, you see him slowly morphing into it more this year with the playmaking getting better, the patience, not forcing things, letting things come to him. And that's what he was doing. And it all went out the window. It's like he regressed 3 years into the worst version of himself, who gets just flustered by good physical defenders, is driving and trying to avoid contact, is just trying to shoot his way out of slumps. Every bad habit he's ever had in his life, they've all come out these last 2 games. It's bizarre to me. It's really weird, and especially not just how he played against Orlando, how he played against the Knicks all season long. The last thing in the world I expected. I thought Brown might be limited. The Porzingis thing's concerning. Last thing in the world I expected is Tatum to completely fall apart and be the worst player on the floor.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I don't get it. Put up some super chats up here. I'm getting the chat ready. Okay, X3 is here to start a fight. JB is getting traded this offseason. I'm saving my takes for the offseason. I'm telling you that this
ain't ready for that.
I'm telling you that this isn't a bad one. But
When he gets it, and it makes it tough to get everyone else.
Pistons physicality toughened the Knicks up. Sure. Orlando was pretty friggin' tough too. I don't think you can be much more physical than they were. So there's really no explanation for the Celtics not being tough right now. Thank you, Carlos, for watching and for the super chat. I've never gone from loving a player to want them gone as much as I do with Tingis. What a useless addition he's been to the postseason. I want him gone now. This might be the overall sentiment of all Celtics fans right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hate to say it. He said tonight in his post game, he's like, the fans have his back or something. I was like, don't go on Twitter. Don't go on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it can happen fast. And again, what do like fans of Boston sports teams care about? They care that you leave it all out there on the line, right? They want you to put it all out there. They want you to, blood, sweat, and tears. They want energy. They want effort. They want all of those things. And I'm not saying that, and Porzingis has demonstrated that at points, but it can change very quickly if they feel like all of a sudden you've changed very quickly. So just keep that in mind. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, keep it in mind.
This is that person's super chat. I imagine a lot of people right now are saying trade Porzingis this offseason. If the Celtics have to make some trades, there's a lot of people that are going to point to him first. Fair enough.
Going to need blood pressure medicine, Merck, for everyone tonight. I can feel it. I actually feel my head. I actually feel pressure. It's bad right now. I feel it as well. I'm going to need something to come back down off of this. But I don't agree with this sentiment. It seems like Tatum doesn't care. I actually think the opposite's been true with him. I think the monkey got off his back, even though, as Jimmy pointed out, and we've said countless times, I've never seen a player's reputation take a hit after winning a championship as Tatum's did. But I do believe that he could relax a little bit and be a little bit more of himself and not feel that he had to do everything, which I thought he did more of this year. First super chat in 3 years. Thanks, Gabe. I'll also ask you how come. But Celtics in 6. Yeah, I can do that math. 2022 vibes from Armani Torres. I agree with that.
Those are dark days.
Lenroy Tatum has a mental issue in the postseason. Look, we have selective memory. He's played some great postseason games and some terrific series. We know that he rescued the Celtics against the Sixers. Bucks series. So it's not entirely true. He stepped up big in some big moments. But again, I tweeted this earlier, like Tatum's not beating the allegations with this. I don't mean in allegations that Jason Tatum is a bad player and this shows it. I mean that people want to hate on him because they don't see what everyone else keeps telling them that he is. And then you watch this game and watch him not able to create his own stuff and not able to do what he wants and not able to get where he wants to go and look genuinely frustrated and ordinary. That's the worst thing. It's not like he's getting in his bag and just missing. He's struggling to get anything that looks good. He's just being dominated right now. That's what's weird about it.
He's unable to. Yeah. It's so Jekyll and Hyde with him sometimes. Like when he's off, he is very off. And I'm not saying there aren't other superstar players that go through those moments, but I think for whatever reason, it's magnified when you see him not playing the way you believe he can. It's ugly because it's a lot of missed shots and bricks, and you're wondering why he can't just use his athleticism and physicality. Get to the rim, get yourself going that way, get to the line, do other things to affect the game that, John's been, banging his fists about for the last couple of years now. He should be putting together more of like a triple-double line and not
25, 8, and 10.
Yeah,
that's where I think he should be.
Right.
26, even there, more efficient. Dirk coming in strong with the 11-11. That's a signature donation from Dirk. We appreciate it. Rick Pitino, asked him about the whole new level of stinky negativity. Rick Pitino did not use the word stinky. But he did say
it sucks.
It stinks and it sucks. But you're right, stinky negativity. And Robert Parrish isn't walking through that door. Cedric Maxwell might walk through that door, though. If you're here at CLNS Media, Max does a podcast. I sometimes have to host it with him as well. But that's okay.
That's scary.
Yeah, Max is nice about that. If Celtics get swept, Matt, first of all, how embarrassing. And do they trade Tatum and rebuild? No.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
They don't.
Not happening.
Hoppy floppy. Celtics in 7? Sure.
Hoppy floppy. So best road team in the league. So yeah, sure. I can. All right, next.
We'll rock with that.
Mac Attack 865. It's either Tatum for the win. And if it's OT, they maybe give it to JB. No actual off-ball movement. Also, we didn't guard Bridges on his heater.
Painful. Yeah. Just painful.
Yeah.
It's the same old.
Yeah.
Next, Parrish Duggar. Oh, he was here on game 1, I think.
Parrish has been here. I thank you very much. Rope-a-dope. No legs, no threes. Sure. Why not? I don't disagree. They don't look like they've got their legs right now. Knicks fan here.
Get him off.
No, I love it.
I'm just joking.
Wouldn't be doubting Celtics yet. They were an ankle injury away from the reverse sweep with the Heat. That's 100% correct.
Bro.
Bobby and Noah, give me a thumbs up when you guys are ready to go. I think we're close to having them set up back inside the Garden. In a little bit, we'll do one more super chat here from John, doubling up here. One thing about the Celtics is they are best with their backs against the wall. Best road team in the NBA. That is 100% true. We put it in the chat here. There's a poll in there. I think we're at about 58-42 last I looked in the YouTube chat. Vote on it, whether they can come back and win. I still think they can. I still think 56-44, losing a little bit of steam there.
Oh, boy.
King of Judah, not Judah Tunes, not to be mistaken with our Judah.
Right.
Pistons are the real deal. They toughen the Knicks.
Okay. That's fair.
Sure.
The Pistons were a harder opponent than the Magic were. So the Knicks maybe felt a little bit more in playoff mode going into this series.
And they barely survived
we got
that.
punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
We did. A lot of people didn't want to play that. A lot of Celtics fans wanted the Knicks. They didn't want the Pistons. So you got what you wanted, and now here you go.
Yeah. This is something we've talked about on this show a lot. Miles Orduna. Cornette is a great regular season backup, but I've never seen someone make 7-2 look inconsequential. Why can't we give Cade a few minutes of hustle? Look, we always thought Luke didn't play big. I think he disproved that this year. He played a lot more physical this season than in years past. He defended better. He blocked more shots. He was better at grabbing rebounds instead of tipping them out. And he was a lob threat, and he finished underneath down below. Go ahead, Jimmy.
He just said Kada, and I just said like flashbacks. Isn't it sad? Like, how sad is it that for 82 games, the stay ready crew was just like rifling in and out of the lineup, the rotation, on and on and on and on. And at the end of the day, John and Sherrod, none of them, a big fat zero. There's nobody available on this bench to like give it a shot, see what they can do, toss him in there. Maybe he can have an effect. We really went the entire season and Joe came up with none of these guys can help. Just none of them. I mean, even Cornette's getting less. Hauser's out. Pritchard's getting less. The bench has never been less important than it is right now after 90 games that we've played. It's just kind of sad that, the Celtics are essentially just basically not much more than a starting lineup at this point. It's crazy. There's nobody they can go to, nobody at all.
I know, but that's how it works, man. I mean,
This is like extreme though.
that's how it works. But the problem is the trickle down effect here. You don't have to. I mean, the Knicks play 7 guys basically. I mean, they played campaign 5 minutes tonight to do a full 8. That's just how it goes. The starters played 43 for Bridges, 43 from Hart, 38 OG, 38 Brunson, 35
I understand
Towns.
it a little more from them.
But again, the point is you're supposed to have 6 starters. If you're running that plus a couple of guys, that's fine. But right now, Porzingis is ass. Brown is,
But that's my point.
Yeah.
When there's nobody.
Last year, Tillman
stepped
stepped in. They don't have anybody.
Right.
But this year it's Luke.
You had Hauser last year, though. You had guys kind of fill on spot duty. It's just, I understand that when the Celtics starters are clicking and they look well and they're playing great. Yeah, I don't care at all about the bench. But this is the time where maybe you'd be able to look down Joe looks down the line and says, hey, let's see what happens. But he's not even there. Like none of these guys have been deemed effective in any capacity. That's all. It's just, anyways, next super chat. When he said Kada,
is Wick going to go in the locker room with the new owner, tell him to get some balls? That's a callback to being down 0-2 to the Heat. When Wick went in there, he gave him the business.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Gave him the business, absolutely. And then that offseason, he told Brad, we need changes. Wick did it all. Pathetic game, no confidence, everyone anxious. Now we're stuck hearing on to the next game. Mentally weak team, Kerr was right. Ow. Sir Brixton Cole.
Damn.
Ooh, stab.
You didn't have to say Kerr was right like that.
Yeah.
He did.
The poll, we're losing ground on the poll now, 54-46, whether they would come back. Brian again jumping in. Missoula playing the town. Sure. I don't know. He needs to do something.
Yeah.
This was the most amazing thing, Matt, and we saw it all. Pritchard hit a 3 with 8:40 left. They didn't make another basket until that Tatum dunk with 18.5 seconds left. I think they missed 14 straight field goals during that stretch.
Insane.
And then I don't even know if you call that a final shot, whatever that was.
And Joe still didn't want to drop a play. Unbelievable.
Joe did. He said he ran the same play they ran 10 seconds earlier, hoping that the Knicks would forget about it.
Right.
Celtics are playing not to lose. Jared Scott. Yeah, that feels like it. It's that prevent defense again. The great looks. We put that one up there earlier. Jason Tatum.
Apparently that's a quarter.
He said show resiliency. Only thing you need to show up. Show up.
Show the F.
Let's put it up there. When Peyton Pritchard hit that shot.
My Lord.
This was the win probability.
That's crazy. Geez. I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what it was.
Wow.
You hate to see it.
And that's where it ended up.
I mean, like this isn't just any team that's up 18. This is a team that a lot of people think is the best team in the NBA with the best, 6-man unit in the NBA. And they blew an 18-point lead like that with 8:30 left in unbelievable fashion. And in a way that is actually very, very hard to do by not really basically even scoring at all. 7 points from that point on, less than 1 point a minute. over an 8.5 minute stretch is insanity for a team that theoretically makes their living on maximizing possessions and 3-point shots and volume and blah, 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 blah. When they have the opportunity to do it, they go the complete opposite direction, which is just crazy. Get that off. I can't look at that anymore. I can't. I won't.
You won't? You don't want to look at it
I don't
anymore?
want to look at that anymore. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Look at should we look at the panic meter?
No.
I love the panic.
I'm not ready for it yet. We're just trying to get Bobby and Noah on here. Those guys are furiously setting up. It would be a shame to.
No, we're getting them on. Let's do a couple more super chats then. We have a ton.
We have a ton. I'll put this one up from Jonathan. If Tatum don't have any big games in the series, you better be prepared for even more slander. 100% right. This is like, it's a joke, right? We put it in our open, and Jimmy's saying last year was, bye-bye haters. Like, you want to talk about the easy ride, doesn't matter. And none of us agreed with that because they were so dominant during the regular season. It didn't matter who they played. They were winning last year. But I say it in the open, you want to cement legacy, win another. Like, that's the point. Like, you go down, like,
you're gonna like verify what the haters are saying.
It doesn't matter if they're wrong. You can't change narratives. If the narrative is Tatum is soft, last year was a fluke, it was an easy path to the championship, the Celtics are a fraud team, and you go out like chumps in round 2 to an inferior opponent or one that's deemed inferior, and they take you behind the woodshed, that's you. Then they're right, and you've got to live with it till you win another. It almost invalidates it. Not in here. We got to experience it. Celtics fans got to live it, but have fun trying to argue with people that the Celtics team was legit last year. If you get smoked like this, these aren't going to be fun conversations. Trust me.
You want to
you can't make people not think it. I use Kevin Durant as an example all the time. Like, KD can't convince anybody he didn't take an easy way out to go to Golden State and win those 2 titles, even though he was amazing and he was the finals MVP as much as he wants to. It'll never change. And he's never won one on his own. And that's going to be the narrative forever. He won his titles by joining a super team because he couldn't do it on his own. He can't fix that. He wants to. He can't. Right. Tatum is going to, this is going to dog him for, doesn't matter. He can come out when the MVP, averaging 32, 10, and 11 next year. And it won't matter until they win another one here. So you can't go out like this. You can't go out like this if you're the Celtics and expect to be able to get away with it.
Facts.
Facts. We talked about this one. Let's throw another one up. If you're another team's fan and you're here, you need friends. Don't we all, though? Isn't that why we're here?
I love that.
Guys, we are your friends. So, Brixton, I appreciate it, but like one on YouTube that found us and is just hanging out with us.
Yeah, we call it Garden Report Family for a reason.
Celtics fan, Knicks fan, Cavs fans, we feel your pain right now. Join us.
Does Tatum pass Halliburton as most overrated next season if they go down? Yeah, he does.
Well, Halliburton would like to have a word after last night's performance.
Yeah, he would. He actually credited Tatum in part for kind of talking to him about some stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wish Tatum recorded that to remind himself of what he said.
I think the conversation might be different next time around.
Yeah.
Man, here we go. Jamaican boy. IDGAF. What any of them have to say? No timeout with 12 seconds. Coach let the same thing happen twice. They've proven they can't freestyle at the end. WTF. We know what all those letters stand for. See you, John. I mean, Sherrod, I've already gone off about the end of the game. Are you in agreement with me or you disagree? Like, are you okay with them just freestyling it, coming out of the inbounds and just going for it? Or would you have liked to see something else happen?
I think the way this game was going, I would have been a little bit more hands-on if I was Joe Mazzulla. Because, I mean, you've been trying to freestyle for damn the entire game up to that point, and it wasn't working. You needed a very definitive, this is what we're going to do. and try and hope that they can come as close to executing the vision that you have as possible. This is going to be one, like I said, this is maybe the worst game Joe Mazzulla has been coaching.
Yeah, that's the point, right, Sherrod? What you just
Yeah.
made, that's the whole ball game. Is you had already proven for 8 straight minutes whatever you were doing on your own was bad.
Wasn't working.
Right.
At that point, it's almost like, again, it's like you talk about, like, you know, like you just gave your car keys to an 8-year-old and they crashed. Like, it's not their fault. Like, they can't drive. Like, they just it's
and then 2 days later you gave it to him again. You gave him the keys again 2 days later.
But you expect a
and he
different
crashed
result.
a different car.
Look at these guys. Best, toughest, most resilient reporters in all of North America. And again, I can't not give.
We were outside a lot today.
I can't not give another shout out to Rich and Amit for ridiculous efforts trying to make this happen. Fire alarm, no elevator, multiple flights of
More
stairs.
ridiculous than you even know, John.
Yeah, they would not be deterred. Okay, and this is above and beyond what we expected here.
Bobby, are
Wait,
you wearing a fire blanket right now?
Noah, why more ridiculous? I want to know.
No, just everything went wrong. The computers were dying, but Ahmed persevered, and here we are. So we can
Wow. Shout
now
out
talk
Ahmed.
about. I was really looking forward to talking about this game, so I'm so glad it worked out.
I know, and now I can't even remember what happened now. It's so crazy how much it unraveled and how quickly it did. Like, it was just a string of missed shots. It was a string of Brunson makes and the Bridges ones, like you talked about. It's so crazy how quickly it happened there, and I almost can't still wrap my head around it. Like, you guys were talking about Joe before we just came on. I have to think everything through there. Again, we were just debating the Robinson thing. It's a small part of it. I didn't love it. But to me, like, how much he had a jumbo lineups in this one, the whole Porzingis thing throws everything off. And that's my biggest concern by far now in this series is his lack of availability. They're in real trouble. Now, do I think they've lost this series? Not necessarily at this point. Like, I don't think they're in a big enough hole to think that. But they're at a giant risk. And I know you said, like, this was going to be the swing game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I had to pick right now who's winning the series, like, I would go with New York. It's not over. They have to lose 2 more games. Like, I think that's the fun of a 7-game series.
I don't think I'm
right?
going to go there tonight.
No,
maybe when I watch it back.
Noah's
I'm not saying New York's winning yet.
This is not about the field, Jimmy. This is not about the field. This is just about the reality that, 3 teams, I think, in NBA history have come back from being down 2-0 after being the home team. It's very unusual, and fact check me on that, but I think that's the stat. So it's very unusual to be in this position. That being said, if there is a team that's poised to do it, I do think this team has the pieces. I don't think this Knicks team is the team that's going to blow that lead, though. Like, that's what gives me pause. I think this is a resilient, strong team that has been very gritty, very clutch, and that's what gives you more pause than anything.
Bridges thing scares me. Like, he was the guy who wasn't going over there, and now, like, the steal at the end of that last game, and then this stretch to close this one, and the stop at the end of this game. I mean,
Stop in the last 2 games. I mean, he's been massive for them.
And I said it on the pod between games 1 and 2. This is the Knicks team we thought was built to beat the Celtics, with the wings doing what they're doing, with OG completely shutting down Tatum in this game. That's the kind of versatility on the wing we thought this team would have. And then you throw Robinson in the mix. And I feel so bad for making fun of all the Knicks fans for, all year saying Robinson, really, like, that's a guy who's going to make a difference here. And he has been through the 3 games we've watched that he's been available.
Yeah, and I think, listen, I don't want to get like all existential big picture, but I think obviously it's on people's minds right now, like what this means and, if they can overcome this. The reality is, and we've known it all year, that no team that is fresh off a championship has been able to get out of the second round
I know,
since 2019.
Prophetic by Joe, right? He talked a lot
about it. Yeah, and it was something that, was a clear point of discussion in the locker room. Everybody knows it. It's a pretty wild stat when you think about it, because a lot of these teams came back pretty similar, but this team seemed like they were best positioned to get out of that situation. And you're seeing it now, and it's like to me, what happened tonight was more psychological than schematic. And maybe when I rewatch the game, I'll change my mind.
And I agree with you on that, because I think the whole 3-point thing got in their head.
I think it got in their head. And I asked Joe, and he just said it didn't. But I feel like that's, I sensed early on they were passing up open looks.
Joe said Tatum passed up looks.
He said it, and then when I followed up on it, he said, he was making the right reads. But the other thing was just when they were up by 20 with 4 minutes to go, it was the exact same situation, and it unraveled in the exact same way with 3 straight defensive lapses that gave the Knicks uncontested threes. And I looked over at the Celtics bench, and it was like you could tell they were like, oh my God, we're blowing this game. And the Knicks side, they were already celebrating. And at the end of the day, basketball is a game of emotions. It's a game of momentum. Joe knows that better than anybody. He studies these things. And they really did kind of emotionally break in that moment. And it doesn't mean that they can come back in game 3.
Can I please go back to the Robinson thing? Because like, I know you guys are going to all laugh, but it halts the momentum of the game. It brings it to a complete stop. You're up 4. You're not in a desperate
What about having a foul left over? Why you put him in the bonus there? I don't understand that either.
I think just
doesn't that affect you on the Brunson play when Holiday's trying to play him straight up and fouls him?
Yes, and so I think can you point to something tangible that happened after that because of that? No, but you're up 4. There's 2.5 minutes left. You need maybe 2 or 3 stops to close out the game. And you're just sitting there fouling and playing this game like you're in a desperate situation. It was a desperate move in game 1. Tibbs before this game said, bring it on. We love being in the bonus. We love, you doing that. And then we'll decide whether we're keeping him on or not. I saw him just thrilled on the opposing sideline, bringing OG out because they're like, all right, they're going to foul again. Let's just hold him here for a second, go into the bonus, and then we'll put him in and we got our best lineup out there. It wasn't the reason they lost this game,
but
to me, it was just distracting. It was not necessary. It was not the reason they were losing their lead. Robinson being on the floor. I know he was good, but you could have dealt with that with your own double big lineup. I just don't get it.
Can I ask you guys something? Joe talks about margins a lot, and we're obsessed with shot selection and things like that. In addition to them melting down and and stagnating on offense or falling asleep on defense, there were flat out hustle plays with loose balls,
offensive rebounds,
very, very big one. And I point to two that were massive. Celtics had a scramble. It was a missed shot, and Al Horford had gotten the rebound and an offensive rebound, tried to kick it out, loose ball. It goes to the deck. OG Anunoby goes flying. So Tatum and OG are running at it, and Anunoby hits the deck and gets the ball, and Tatum decides to hop over him and not go down and fight for that loose ball. It was egregious. And when you watch it back, it's like Cam Newton in the Super Bowl. It was like, oh, you're not going to go for that, huh? And instead he rolls over OG, falls, stays on the ground. Knicks go back 5-on-4 the other way. 3-pointer, massive play there, but you can't not go to the ground on that if you're Tatum. That's the maddest I got all game. And then next possession down, ball goes up, and Brown and one other Celtic watch a shot hit the floor, and they don't go after it. They didn't attack the ball on the glass. It's not putting a body. It was there, and the Knicks pounced on it and scored on that one too. Those are horrible plays. You talk about margins. That's another team. Forget you weren't executing. We knew that. If you played hard, you probably still win, and they didn't. That drives me insane because that's that shell shock thing you're talking about where they just stopped. But those two plays were inexcusable.
And to go back to the Joe thing yesterday, John, because I feel like he deserves a ton of criticism out of this. He's out there talking about you got to make shots, like shots got to go in. But that's all the other stuff that can shift a game when shot making's not in your direction. And they just weren't able to do that kind of stuff. And are they just going to sit here and wait for the 3-point percentage to turn around and not do the other things, not be sharp defensively? Because like you said, they've had some major breakdowns defensively.
And I'll say, Jaylen said after the game he liked their defense today. He thought that it was the offense that let them down.
But it's the timely.
Yeah, there were some timely plays down the stretch. But again, I felt like for 80% of this game, their defense was really good. And I was like, this is actually kind of unrecognizable from game 1. And there was a collapse that happened. I mean, it was like the most visceral thing you could feel. I don't know if it translated worse or better on television, but being in this building, it was like everybody knew what was happening. They couldn't there was offensive rebounds that were slipping through their hands. Derek White had a offensive rebound, tip and layup that he would never misses that he missed. Just everything started going wrong. And you needed in that moment to regroup and be like, listen, we're still up 6 or we're still up 4. We still have a good chance here. And you never felt them like turned around. Even when Tatum got the dunk, I looked over at the Celtics bench and it's like there wasn't even any sense of relief or joy or like, let's go. It was like they just looked like deer in the headlight a little bit.
Did they call timeout midway through the fourth? I can't even remember, but it felt like there was a long stretch where the game just kept going and going and going while it was getting away from them.
So that's what I'll ask there. I hate the timeout game, but I'll ask you guys a question, because it's always stop the momentum and this and that. And I think that that's another kind of low-hanging fruit thing that's easy to pick up on when you see a coach not doing it. Mazzulla got dogged for it his first year a lot for not stopping momentum, but it wasn't stopping momentum as much as it was, guys, stop playing like assholes, to use an email line, like,
or run some sets
or let's get this going to get us to unlock something. Because right now what you're trying to do isn't working. So I normally trust your judgment, but I don't like what I'm seeing. So I'm the grown up in the room. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Sometimes you have to do that. I don't understand not doing it there. As far as the defense, I agree with Noah. I thought I did my first half observations. I thought the Celtics defense was amazing, flying around, aggressive. They looked like they wanted it. And yet a bad offense absolutely affected their defense there in the fourth quarter, because most of the game I thought they played well. But I'll ask you guys a question a lot of people had asked. The timeout at the end of the game, whether you call it, don't call it. We've seen Mazzulla opt not to do this. He doesn't like the defense getting set very often.
I didn't mind that one.
But you have a couple of problems here. Number one is you can't be down a point and run it down to 0 to take the shot. Just can't do it. So you have to design, you have to trust that your player is going to get it up with 5 seconds or 4 seconds to go to get a shot at an offensive rebound or to foul if the other team gets it. So you get another shot. You have to live to play another day. Down 1, you can't whittle it down to 0. And they did. So that's just bad recognition by Jason Tatum. But number 2, what over the last 9 minutes gave you belief that they knew what they were doing to be able to manufacture their own offense?
It's fair.
Number 3, here was Mazzulla's explanation about the type of play that they tried to get going off of that.
12 seconds left.
I had one left, got a look at on the exact same play 20 seconds earlier, trying to execute the exact same thing. They did a better job of their lower pickup point, and we weren't able to get the advantage that we had on the last Tatum dunk. So good full court setting. They subbed out Towns, weren't able to sub out. Brunson had action there, and we just didn't execute.
So they ran the same exact play that they just
that's a
ran.
good point. I didn't realize. So Robinson was on the 4 and Brunson was on the 4. So they had subbed out Towns. So that's not as big of an advantage to go.
It's not,
as I
because
would
you
have thought.
can't get the sub pattern in there. It was because they brought Robinson in. But 2, you ran the same. They tried to do the same thing that they did before with Robinson when Tatum got him out on a switch there and was able to go.
He's a good switch defender. I don't know why they try to go after that.
I think beyond that, it's like the same thing is going to be much more easily recognizable the second
the
time
same
around,
action,
right?
the same play, and that was the explanation.
Crazy.
So there's so many things wrong with that that I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it in real time because Brunson's still on the 4, right? Like, I do agree with Joe on that thing to have someone out there that you can target. But if that is going to be your approach there to go after a Robinson, it is pretty easy to, be able to sniff that out if you're the Knicks there. And Tibbs has been sharp here. Like, I think they've switched the way they've defended them into this game. The first game, the switching was a big part of it, as you talked about pregame, John. That wasn't something they expected. So they just have been a tough defense to crack. And I think Tatum's series so far speaks to that more than anything else. Like, he just is not able to get any separation from his defenders, and there's no advantages being built, and they're really just flat offensively. And like, there's a reason they're settling, because there's no access to the paint. Like, whether it's the Knicks hedging, whether it's some switching, all of this stuff and being able to do it comfortably, he's just stuck launching either threes or a lot of bad 2s in this game, I felt like.
Yeah, and listen, the timeout, generally speaking, they've always leaned on the side of not calling it. And when they have called it, I would need to look at all the numbers, but it hasn't gone particularly well for them in those moments against those set defenses.
They got the dunk out of the first one, right?
Yeah. But I understand, like, I think that to me is such a, like, it's the last play, so it has to get scrutinized, and that's fair. But really what went wrong was when they didn't have a field goal from the 8.5 minute mark to the 2.5 minute mark. And there were so many opportunities there to just do everything differently offensively, honestly. Like, that was the challenge. So I don't know.
Oh, we just lost Noah's mic.
We lost Noah.
Noah's audio cut out, guys.
You got me.
I got you.
Yeah.
Noah, I don't know if a cable came loose there, Bobby. We got you though.
Yeah, we lost Noah here, but
we still see you, Noah.
Defense,
Hi, Noah.
Bobby just unplugged Noah's mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
Oh, we're back.
All right, perfect. All right, yeah. So I just think that they've been flattened out offensively. Porzingis, that piece is a big part of it here because they don't have him to attack switches. Horford is trying, but he just keeps missing shots. And we were looking kind of at the play-by-play through the fourth here during that stretch you're talking about. And a lot of it was Horford just tossing up misses inside from 2 there, posting up, tossing up floaters. The floater he tried to make there just wasn't online at all. And I think the Knicks are fine with that because he just hasn't been efficient from 2.
Sure, if you're guarding the Celtics, a Horford 2 is you're probably your best case scenario. But again, I'm not going to take the Joe like shots they need to fall, but they also had so many opportunities to hit a 3, like a ridiculous amount.
Is that going to be their whole offense though? Like
no, and I'm not saying that's why they lost, and if that's the only thing that went wrong. I mean, I just said I think they really did have a mental collapse here defensively. Mikal Bridges, no adjustment on the fact that he scores 14 points early in the first half. Like I never noticed them do anything to make him uncomfortable. It was like a basketball player's dream. You find a rhythm and you can keep going back to the same spot over and over again. So that is now the only reason they lost. But it was kind of astonishing to see how many clean looks they're getting. Derek White, who never misses those momentum shots. Tatum wide open. Like even
the Tatum one,
like
was
so
big.
many good looks. Then Derek misses a layup. Like, it just felt like, oh my God, is there a curse on getting out of the second round? If you're like that, I was thinking to myself, like, I never forecast that this could happen, this early on, that they're going to lose 2 games to this Knicks team that couldn't hang out with them at all during the regular season. And then it's like, there was just a lid on the basketball too. And even if they had been more poised, like, I don't know, maybe it's all mental and that's why they missed all the shots. And if Derek White had been a little bit more relaxed, he doesn't miss the tip in or, but I have to just say, like, there were some perfect looks that I'm sure the Knicks, when they go back and look at this game, they're like, oh, we got some good breaks here too. And you kind of need that when you make a 20-point comeback 2 games in a row. Like there's a little bit of that luck factor too.
Yeah.
Guys, we gotta cycle through a few more super chats here because they came flooding in, and we want to just give a hats off to the people here who contributed. Thank you. This will help ease our suffering. Damn, Tatum got 2 bad games. You sell him out, shaking my head. Hey, that's what happens here. I do apologize, but again, your stars get built up, and you talk about them. And this is how legends are made: when you perform well in the playoffs and on the big stage, and when you suck, you eat it twice as hard, 10 times harder than you will during the regular season. It's you get the glory, you get the blame. It's how it works. I don't think Tatum's getting too much criticism or unfair criticism. He's bad. He's their best player. He was playing at an MVP level coming into the series. He looks awful. I'm sorry. Knicks might sweep TJ Leaf. Yeah, it's possible.
I highly doubt it.
They missed open. Oh, Bobby, you don't get to do more predictions. Sorry.
You don't.
Yeah.
Now they're definitely going to sweep.
Bobby predicted a sweep. He just got the wrong team.
Yeah.
Jonathan Francois, Tatum not beating the allegations, mellow level player with a Hall of Fame GM. Get ready for that drop off next season when the best supporting cast in basketball is broken up. Ouch. Ouch.
That was depressing.
Jimmy, did you fall asleep in the sun or what? Says Risa.
I actually, my face is peeling. I will be the first to admit it. On Saturday, I didn't realize it, but I was in the sun longer than I needed to be.
It happens.
Hey. Dealing with the repercussions. Everybody I've talked to today has made a point to let me know that I'm peeling in front of their.
Listen, you waited a long time for it. Enjoy
yeah, exactly. I got a little ahead of myself. I was under an umbrella. It didn't matter.
Yeah. Happy Hour Network. Joe lost a use it or lose it TO when the Knicks were still down 6 or 7. Then he doesn't have the stones to drop a play.
I was thinking that.
Couldn't do it in game 1 too.
Yeah, like it is a use it or lose it there. So there's no reason not to.
Sad.
I don't know what Joe's doing in this series. I really don't.
He's shell-shocked.
I think a lot of it's on him.
Yeah. He's shell-shocked.
Like the threes aren't there and they just don't know what to do. Like there's
Here's Jimmy. Jimmy's taking his victory lap.
Oh, I'm right on one thing a year. I can take this one.
Your analysis was great after the last game, Jimmy. Just rattling off all the things there. In this game, to me, I just didn't see enough to get them the amount of rhythm looks that they needed here. And like things are getting a little frantic at times. They're not able to kind of get organized on the fly. But I think the biggest thing that's most concerning to me is that it is affecting their defense at times, a lot of these misses. And that is on the players. Like, you got to be able to just get back and defend through some of these stretches. And like you said, in the first half, they do. Later, through some devastating misses like you talked about, there's just mistakes and lapses the other way. One of those Bridges looks, everyone was lost. Like, no one was even near him on the baseline.
But even the ones that were, there was a hand up, it's like, at the end of the day, he's a basketball player, right? He's a guy that has scored 20 plus points per game. When you've hit 2 or 3 in a row, you have to give him a little something, a bump, a different defender, something to get him a little bit out of whack. And I was thinking to myself, it's like, he's in the gym right now, and it's just him in the
there isn't much physical defense.
Like there was no adjustment to the fact that he was single-handedly bringing New York back into this game early in that fourth quarter. And I thought they were going to be able to withstand it because Pritchard hits 2 threes, and that was like their only real offense early on. And I was thinking, okay, like maybe they're going to be able to withstand the fact that this guy who they gave up a lot for over the summer, as everybody's talked about, the 5 first-round picks, is coming alive in the most dangerous moment. But they didn't have a counter to it. And that's what he won them the game today. I mean, that 14 points in that fourth quarter after the abysmal shooting season and then the late game steal, like that's your MVP in this game.
Yeah. And they've wanted him to shoot those twos for a lot of the series. They'll have Biggs on him. They'll have Cornette on him. And like he'll just step in there and get those.
Couple more super chats. Roland D is throwing a lot of dough at us today. We should tell Brown he's guarding Luka every game and see if he goes with it. Roland jumping back in. Knicks fans were mopey before the series. Gonna feel even better now coming in.
I was trying to hype them up outside. Like, come on.
Yeah. We've got Ron Dewan. This is where Marcus Smart's passion is missed outside of Brown. Honestly, I save it.
Should we call up Grant? Should we call up Grant too?
Just save it with that.
Could.
Holiday
Let's see
was
Kemba Walker. What's Kemba up to?
Holiday was 10 Marcus Smarts out there for most of the game today. I don't think it was lack of fire and passion. He was awesome. White, I thought, played hard. I thought, again, the effort was not in question for most of this game. It was not. This wasn't heart and fire. It was a choke job. Mistakes. Sloppy, bad execution, live ball turnovers. Everything you could possibly do wrong that's what happened there. Prince, New York Liberty. If Kristaps Porzingis doesn't come back in the series, are you throwing up the white flag? I'll ask you guys. They've proven as recently as last year's playoffs they can play without Kristaps. Right now, is it better to just remove him and try to live or live with 10, 12, 15 minutes and see what you can get?
Need him. They got a good stretch from him in the fourth with the putback and some of the other
and the 3
got there.
Yep.
Yeah, and the 3. So that was an important stretch. And I love Luke. I think you need the Porzingis 3-point dynamic out there because it just makes the Knicks defend a different way.
Yeah.
I don't love the way he looks right now. He looks limited.
You can't go away from everybody. You can't go away
and there's
from
nowhere else
everybody.
to go. There's really nowhere else to go.
I mean, they've gone away from – they have to go away from Hauser now because he's hurt, but they went away from him before that. They've gone away from
another
Cornette.
Killer right now.
They've gone away from Pritchard in a lot of cases. Now you're going to go away from – there's nobody left.
This is
half
scary.
the team is banged up, and the other half they won't go to anymore. There's nobody left to trot out there all of a sudden.
Maybe they'll try Baylor Shireman in game 3.
That would be desperate.
That would be the white flag that we've been talking about waving.
But it's not. I think it's smart to do something. You know, like you can't just roll it. It's not. I don't think
their
it's
wing
insane.
depth's gone.
But
there is no wing depth.
If you don't have Porzingis and double big, you've lost your double big minutes to the Knicks, who are out double bigging you right now.
I know.
And if you don't want to go to it, you're going to have to do something. You're not putting Tillman in this game or any game ever. So
I disagreed with you a minute ago, but if Hauser's out for a next handful of games and Porzingis is going to play 10 minutes, I do think this series is over. Like they just don't have enough if those guys aren't playing. So
honestly, like it's I'm not ever going to say anything's over when there's more games to be played.
Yeah.
But what gives me more pause than the Celtics injuries is the fact that I don't think this is a Knicks team that's about to choke. Like they're not about to choke this 2-0 lead heading back to Madison Square Garden. They've shown no signs of that. You know, if I'm looking at like even that Miami team in 23, like they to me felt like they were playing a little bit over their heads.
But I'll say this, the shooting swung back in that series.
Yeah.
Like it was a similar shooting dynamic.
But this is what I'll say, and probably nobody wants to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Like I already know that this is going to be this whole collapse here, these last 2 games, is going to be an indictment on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Joe Mazzulla as players and as people and as blowed up. And I'm already seeing stuff, people kind of diminishing last year's championship and everything. But at the end of the day, the same guys that went down 0-3 and 23 are the same guys that won 3 games in a row to, give you on the brink of making history. And those are the same guys that also dominated an entire postseason last year and took care of business in the NBA Finals and were poised down the stretch. And right now they're just not able to recreate it. And so I know everybody, we're all prisoners of the moment. And for fans, like, this game sucked. I can't even imagine being a fan who paid money to be here and to watch that unfold. But I'll just my 2 cents is this is not like an indictment of what these guys are capable of or who they are, or they're scared of the moment, or kind of all these tropes that are easy to say. It characterizes what happened in these 2 games. And unfortunately in this sport, you don't really get the leeway to have a couple bad games.
They're hurt, they're worn down. And the Porzingis stuff, frankly, pisses me off because, what do people think is like? People really think he's just sitting right back right now and just relaxing. It's the biggest moment. He wants to be part of this run, and he's got to
be dying right now.
He's got to be.
Yeah,
dying.
I mean, the health stuff don't even get me started because we don't. Everybody might look like an idiot in 3 months when if real health details come out and people realize he was actually.
What did you guys think of those answers?
I don't know.
It's still weird and cryptic. To Noah's point, we addressed this earlier in the show. It doesn't, I agree, rationally speaking, it doesn't matter because they won a championship and it's the same guys and all of that stuff. But again, you can't beat the allegations if that's what people think. So it's less about what's actually happening and what people think, and you can't stop them from thinking it. So it won't matter how many rational arguments you make. If the people who wanted to believe that the Celtics had an easy path to the title and they're frauds, see them go down badly in the second round to a supposedly inferior opponent, then they win and they're right.
That's
and
fine.
It won't change. And that's the thing is you can't get people to think differently. And so what matters is the perception will be that even if it's not fair. And that's what they're battling right now. Jason Tatum, as Jimmy's pointed out, we've talked about.
That's so frustrating.
Won a title.
They have a trophy, John.
Jason,
but here's the thing, John. But
Tatum won a title and his reputation got hurt.
I know,
Because of how he shot in the finals, and people want to prove that narrative.
Sitting here, that it's
yeah,
and we can say it was an easy path, but so was the Denver Nuggets path.
I agree.
Team and the Lakers were in the bubble, and
but it doesn't matter what we think.
Championship.
It doesn't matter what we think.
But which championship do we respect? I don't think anybody respects any championship because we love to just criticize everything and tear athletes down instead of highlighting the positive. Things. I still think that we have a responsibility though to contextualize this is kind of the lifespan of athletes, and this is what happens.
Yeah, and we will try, but people will call us homers, and
that's fine, and they can do that.
And we will lose this argument to America.
I think what's going to happen though is you get that title, right? Like Denver did, the 6 straight,
every other championship,
the 6 straight teams that won it, who couldn't repeat. But what you lose, and especially with some of the stuff we're looking ahead to this summer, is that ability to become an all-time
Bobby,
great team, a dinosaur. Yeah.
You get that title, Denver, then they go out the next year, but Jokic wins MVP, and then they're playing this year, and Jokic averages a triple-double. So while Denver,
Tatum had a crazy year this year too.
I know that, but while Denver went down, Jokic has been Jokic all the way through. Tatum. When they go down, it's because Tatum is bad. That's the difference. If Tatum was averaging 40 and the Celtics lost, he'd be fine. But they'd be like, then you could say Porzingis injured, Brown injured. But when Tatum sucks, he's not going to beat these allegations. He's not. So
I know, but it would be better if he's scoring 40 and losing.
I'm not saying what's better for the game. I'm saying what's better for perception. Tatum's going to eat this one if he doesn't start playing better, fair or not. And no one's going to remember that he raised his game or got his assists from 4.8 up to 6 this year. It doesn't matter. On a big stage, he looked like this following a finals where he shot 20-something% from 3 and looked like he was struggling, even though we can say he did a lot there. People see that, and that's what they think of him. It's going to be a really tough offseason, and it's going to be tough to rebuild that reputation and convince the world he's a top 3, top 4, top 5 player, because a lot of people don't want to believe it now, even when he's playing well, because they don't see it. So he has a lot on the line right now. He does.
Well, it comes down to one thing and one thing only at the end of the day. Are you winning now? Not can you win, not do you have the capacity to win. Are you winning now? And if you're not, that is going to define the narrative. And that's the problem for Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum has had a phenomenal career. If he decided to walk away from the game right now, he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I am totally convinced of that.
Yeah.
But that is not the narrative that you're attaching to him now. The narrative that you're attaching to him now is best player on defending champions, down 0-2, lost both games at home. He's not getting it done. Right. That's the narrative. And that's not going to change until Jason Tatum can lead this team to change their ways in this series. And it's not about whether that's being right or whether that's wrong. That's just being real.
That's
how
that's
it's
fair.
gonna be.
That's fair. Yeah. And that's focusing on this year.
Which is what this should be about.
It is about this year, but it's not about affirming last year. Last year is completely separate. Like he shouldn't need to affirm last year. They shouldn't need to affirm last year.
But I think that there is a segment of the base that wants to say, well, you have to remember that these guys have already won a championship. And again, that means nada right now. It means absolutely nothing.
I think the reason I bring this up, though, is because people have this desire when we talk about the NBA to be like, actually, that's a fraudulent team. Like those Utah Jazz teams, they were fraudulent regular season teams, right? Like those teams, like they won a bunch of regular season games, but they never got it done. This is not a fraudulent team. This team won the championship last year. All of these people on this team did it last year. And so if anything, it just shows you how hard it is to be able to have all the stars align and to actually be the team of the 30 that hoists the championship trophy at the end of the year. You need your health. You need the ball to bounce in your direction. You need Jaylen Brown to tip the ball off Pascal Siakam and to hit a corner three, even though he's not a good corner three shooter. Like you need all these little things to happen. And right now you're seeing that those things are pointing in their opposite direction.
And if they lose, everyone will call them frauds and there's nothing we can do about it.
That's all I'm saying. But John, I hear you, but like, aren't we reporters though? Like if Stephen A. Smith can go up tomorrow and call them frauds, can't we, the people that cover them every single day and know this team much better than the national people?
Why does our opinion matter more than every fan that watches every game across the country? It doesn't. We're not right. We're just saying, well, he played really well this year. It doesn't matter. Like that's what people think. Like I said, I've used this example a million times, and I love Kevin Durant, and I also think the Celtics would have beaten anybody you put in front of them last year easily. It didn't matter that they were hurt or not hurt. I'll argue that to the death. Doesn't matter what I think.
But this isn't that team.
Nor am I responsible for telling people that. It just is what it is. It's just the reality that you can't escape. Like Kevin Durant won Finals MVP twice, going to the Golden State Warriors. He's the best player on a super team. The entire world thinks he took the easy way out in a championship, and it'll never change. That's it. You can't argue facts. Well, actually, he was amazing and he was integral. It doesn't matter. He took
it would have helped if people that covered him during that era, like, had a little bit more integrity in the way they discussed like the greatness of what he did in those 2 seasons.
I'm saying
so that's why I feel a little bit.
Yeah, when the Kevin Durant story is told by the fans are determining what the legacy
John,
here is.
We've talked about the frustration we have with the Tatum narrative. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And we can talk about what he's doing now in this year's context.
Yeah,
but it shouldn't be an extension of last year. Like he shot poorly during that.
But you know what? It doesn't even matter because Jaylen won a Finals MVP, an Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and he was struggling in December, and people were like, ship is out of town. Like it's not really about whether you proved yourself in the finals. It is like, what have you done for me today? That's the nature of how we perceive like these athletes and kind of
because today's really all that matters. The regular season doesn't matter at all. We can contextualize all we want. If Jason Tatum plays like this and they get swept in 4 games, this is all that mattered that he did this season. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter at all what he did in the regular season, that he made a leap, that he became a better overall player, that he played like an MVP at times. Doesn't matter at all. That's it.
You know, there's other factors here. Obviously, he's not
the only one. Yeah,
he's at the top of our blame pie, obviously, because he just hasn't gotten it done in this series. Jaylen has had stretches where he has not played well either here. White, as you mentioned, misses the shots down the stretch. There is a frustrating lack of involvement of some of the other pieces of the roster. Like I think Pritchard at times, there was a case in that game one to go to him more. He's been a bigger part of this team this year. I think utilizing him in a bigger moment makes sense given what he's done this year. Cornette, similar deal. Like when we start to stack up what made this team better this year, like Tatum was playing better.
The double big was a huge part of it.
The double big was a big part of it. Porzingis, I said it all year, you need him to win a championship. And if he's not going to be part of this, I don't think they're going to be able to win this series. Hauser, hasn't been present for the entire postseason. He was a vital part of the finals run last year. So there's a lot of other stuff going on here. And this is why I was really hesitant to say this year's team was better, because there were a lot of injuries going on. There was a lot of down shooting years going on, Horford's namely. He offensively right now in this series specifically isn't the same guy we saw last year, even though he's holding up tremendously defensively. So there's a lot of other stuff going on alongside Tatum's struggles that I think are factoring into why they're letting things down right now. But when it comes to Brown and Tatum, they're being lured into playing one-on-one basketball. They're being lured into things we watched with them in the past that have been the worst versions of themselves. And they have to figure out ways to get other guys more involved. And I know that's on Joe to some degree, but I do lay off Joe a little bit because his personality, his approach as coach has been to let these guys do their thing. And he's not just going to change that because things are going wrong in a game. They're up 20 in both of these games, and their players mismanaged a lot of these leads too. So, like, there's a lot of blame to go around beyond Tatum, who really hasn't been good in this. Really hasn't raised the level of the team, and that's what you ask these stars to do. But to me, right now, in this playoff, they're dealing with a worse situation, a worse team, certainly greater competition on the Knicks side too. But they're collectively not living up to this moment right now. I don't think this falls all on Tatum.
No, it doesn't. He's the top of the pyramid. Jimmy, a couple more super chats here. Can we rattle through them?
Yeah, you want me to rattle through them?
Kinda.
Let's do it. Why is Mazzulla getting no blame? What? Have you been watching the show? Says the right things.
It's so easy though, right?
But his coaching is subpar at best. Just lets his players play huck it and chuck it. I don't know.
This wasn't a huck it and chuck it game.
Thank you, Reminiscent Gaming. Yep.
This wasn't a huck it and chuck it game. They took 43s. They actually missed a lot of shots inside the 3-point line.
Their missed twos and turnovers driving inside have been way more pertinent to their issues in this series than the missed threes.
Oh,
the threes have been good looks.
The shot quality is terrible.
White's wide open in the fourth quarter. Like, I hate to pull the Joe, but they're missing wide open threes.
Right. It's the contested twos that Tatum took all game long that were brutal. His shot profile tonight was brutal, avoiding the threes. Matt Flynn. No, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I'm just going to say, but Mazzulla is getting blame on this show. We have all basically taken some. We've blamed him in a lot of ways. He's not the reason they lost, but I don't think Mazzulla is helping the team right now. Coaching is not an advantage to the Celtics right now. We'll leave it at that. Shut KP down and take him out of the rotation from G travels. You guys have been saying that earlier than game 1 and game 2. You've been considering Porzingis coming off the bench and having Horford slide in that starting lineup. Do you still feel that way after today? Or do you feel that way even more after today, I should say?
It feels like Porzingis is limited right now. So
I mean, you only gave them 14 minutes. So I don't think that the starting thing was much more of a, I don't think that was a schematic decision. I think that's more his limitations. I also felt like, he had a couple of nice plays in the fourth, but the spacing with him early on was terrible. I felt like he missed a couple of defensive rebounds. He was in Tatum's way at one point when Tatum was driving into the basket. He brought his defender along. He just seems totally out of whack. I don't know if he's, again, we have no idea what he's going through, but some of the starting 5 issues earlier in the year are times 5 right now as far as what you're seeing with him on the
They're
floor.
putting more pressure on Horford, but they have no choice.
Couple more here. Matt Flynn, time to root for the Red Sox young fun team. I don't know about that.
Right.
George Yorgo, Yorgos, Fakos, my buddy, my Australian Greek buddy. All we need to do is not play like ass and we win. I hear you there.
You're up 20 in both of these games.
George, I miss you. I know. 3 years, Gabe. 3 years, no super chat. Always listen during work. You guys can listen back for those of you late to the party. It is also an audio version of a podcast. 21 years old, have watched every episode since the D. White trade days. I forget what we thought about that trade back then. It doesn't really matter. John is the GOAT.
John is the GOAT. Apparently he forgets what you said about that trade.
Apparently he does. Changa. Is that right?
Chang de Virgo.
No, Chang de Virgo. The Stay Ready crew was extending leads. We gift wrapped 2 games. I'll let Noah answer this one. What's going on here? Not the Stay Ready crew, but you want more Pritchard. The bench. You want more Pritchard. Did you get enough Pritchard tonight?
I do too. I don't know how you get it done though.
No,
I don't think so. I mean, I think defensively he's been a plus defender for them through this series and through this postseason. He had some good looks that he missed in the fourth quarter. I think he went 2 for 4 from 3, which on this team that's like electric. So I would have liked to see more Pritchard.
And he
because
pushes
they
the
needed,
damn
yeah,
ball.
they needed some offense too.
He pushes
and
the ball. He pressures. He plays full court. He might just be a thorn in
he's a
Brunson's
release valve.
side
He's
for
a
bit.
release valve for them right now. I mean, you
Offensive
guys know I love
rebounds.
Al. I'm the biggest Al enthusiast out there. He's bringing zero on offense right now, and that's
Do they just go small?
I don't know. I have to rewatch this game.
Yeah.
It's something
I'm
they
like,
should try,
maybe,
right?
Yeah.
Like Tatum at center, Brown at the
Yeah.
4, Holiday.
But they got to get
Pritchard,
some
White.
rebounds too, because that was.
But then you can get out. You can
Yeah.
move. Like they are at a slog of a pace in this game, and they really have been all.
I don't know. That drives me nuts too. There's a couple other things that bothered me. Is it when the offense was going poorly, off misses and even turnovers, they weren't running. Insane to me. One time they did get out off of a miss, kicked it out to White. He started running. He turned around. 2 guys were with him, and 4 Knicks were back already. And then 2 other people make their way up the court. Just not getting out quickly enough, not getting out in transition, and not getting into their offensive sets quickly enough. The pace has been a problem. Tatum needs to think Eric Polanco. Tatum needs to be better. Brown is injured. He can't carry them this year. We've
Brown
talked
bailed him
about
out
that
last
quite
year.
a bit. Does the Jay cancel Roman? Does the emphasis on rebounding and defense take away the legs for the offense? Guys, do you think so? You think their offense ran out of gas here? Sherrod, what do you think?
No, I don't think. It wasn't that their offense ran out of gas, because you've got to actually be
tightened up.
moving.
Yeah.
You've got to be moving for your offense to run out of gas. You actually have to be executing at a high level. I think what they did was they just went away from the blueprint that was working. Drew Holiday set the tone from the outset, playing bully ball. Tatum was doing more of that. Derek White attacking the rim. And then all of a sudden that opened up things for not just 3-point shots, but 3-point shots in rhythm. And then the second half rolls around and they figure we're just going to do something completely different from what worked for like 2.5 quarters. That and again, I understand that you don't put all the blame on Joe Mazzulla, but at some point, and I talked about this earlier, when your team is acting out of character, when they're playing out of character from how they've literally been playing previously in the game, it's kind of on the coach to get them back on track to how they're supposed to play. And I thought Joe did a pretty piss poor job of getting them back on track. His game plan was working. They were not looking for the 3-point shot nearly as much. They were actually combating New York's physicality with their own brand of physicality. And then they just decided to get 3-point shot happy in the second half. And next thing you know, you're up by 20 and then you're down. And then it's a dogfight. And that's exactly what the Knicks were wanting. So, no, it's not the offense ran out of gas. They just decided to go with a plan that has shown itself to not work against this team.
Jimmy,
They have
throw
such
it
a
up
bad
there.
habit too.
Tossing
of
it up
slowing
there.
down when they go up big.
Tossing up a couple more super
Giants
chats.
South,
Go ahead,
thank
Jimmy.
you very much. Not sure if this has been said, but this is definitely 2023 Heat matchup vibes. We did say that. They punked the Celtics, and now the Knicks are doing the same. Celtics in 7 anyways.
Yeah, here's the positive to that. And I agree with that. They came back in that
I
series.
love that. They suck. They suck. Celtics in 7.
Yeah.
I think there's some similarities.
There might be. Real quick, couple more here. We shouldn't panic. Lost by a combined
You are
4
so
points over
generous in
2
the
games.
loss.
Playing the worst basketball of the season. 1 fix, and we're back
Thank you,
for
Jake.
sure. That's from Jake. Jake following up.
Double
We
dip.
I
had to
hired
go-
Jake to put that chat in there.
We had to
Yeah.
go to buckets in the 4th. That'll come back. JB in the paint, JT corner 3, all Al open 3s, ETC. Don't trip, fam. We're gonna lock in. So again, some
All right.
people still bullish on this. I
Say there's
actually,
a chance.
Chris
I'm
is bullish too.
gun to my head. I still think the Celtics win the series.
No,
Go
he's
ahead,
not,
Jimmy.
actually.
John?
No, he's not.
This is
though.
your
Hell yeah.
opinion, John?
Mine is,
Or
yeah.
This is a super chat.
Chris,
No,
a
I
little bit
still
of a
do.
downer here. I was excited to see the Celtics face off against the competition this year. It hurts to see the C's regress during one of the best playoffs in years. Jake comes back again for a 3rd time. This guy is just he's making it rain in the super chat.
Bring it, Jake.
Jake, I'm not
Boom,
tripping
boom,
at all.
boom.
Knicks
Yeah.
have peaked and C's are playing terrible. If we play okay, we win by 10 plus. And if we play well, it's a blowout. Season 6. Okay.
How about this one? I like this. Chang the Virgo coming back with another one. Will not be denied. Jake,
Wow.
Jake, you're not going to out super chat
Yeah,
me.
nice
Fair
try,
weather Celtics fans. Don't be back in Tatum's something emoji.
I know what that is. Yeah,
I know what it is too.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
going to say it.
Oh, wow.
He puts on a show at MSG.
Some people are
Don't-
allergic to it.
Yeah, exactly.
When he puts on a show in MSG, absolutely.
You'll come crawling back. Yeah, exactly.
I get that. Merck has been throwing
yeah.
down here. If the Celtics get swept or lose in 5, does Joe get fired? Guys, how serious is this? If it's a meltdown, could Joe Mazzulla
There's
lose his
zero
job?
chance Joe gets fired.
0.
Oh God, who said that?
Yeah. There's 0.
Was that Bobby that just said that?
They're not.
Yeah.
Do you think Brad?
Oh my
Stevens
God,
is gonna
poor
fire
Joe.
Joe?
Poor Joe. Bobby just said 0 chance Joe gets fired.
Oh, no.
Joe, Joe just got fired. Bobby.
Joe's
That's
like-
what just happened.
Joe's
Celtics
watching
just
right now.
released
I was like, no.
Celtics just put a press release out.
Let me check my email.
You might as well give him Coach of the Year
Nah.
award, Bobby. Why don't you do that
Jake
too?
with another one off the top
Wow.
rope. We lost by 1 point, guys. A made free throw could have made the difference. I think we're overreacting.
We'll see.
Okay.
You lost by
I
1
agree.
point. Again, that doesn't tell the whole story, Jake. Don't tell half the story.
Jimmy, what is that hat? It's like a scally and a baseball cap.
Okay, this is not
Had
a
a
hat.
baby.
It was
No,
an eye mask.
it's
I just had
this.
it on my
Tell
forehead.
him, Jimmy.
Yeah, listen, this eye mask that you see is not what we're selling, but we are selling eye masks now. As of yesterday, eye masks is for
But
sale.
we're still stuck on this sad promo code of 12 more.
Guys.
We can't move off it.
We've been on the 12 more promo code for 2 weeks, it feels like now. But guess what? It still works for you guys. 20% off the merch store. This is an eye mask game. There's hard
This is
hat
easy to
games
remember.
and there's eye mask games. Hard hat games, you already know. Eye masks are for the games where you just want to look
We didn't even
away.
get to Tatum.
You can't even, the press conferences put you to sleep. The game puts you to sleep. You want to you need help sleeping after the game because you're just staring at the ceiling. You toss on the Celtics eye mask. We got t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, bags, hard hats. Check out the merch store, CLNS merch store.
Yeah.
And right now it's 20% off. Okay. get
Real
out.
quick, a couple more super chats, and we'll get closing thoughts from everybody here. But
Oh,
we
we
did
can't
get a
stop
lot of them.
laughing over here.
Just a quick note. Thank you all for reporting and analysis. I think reporting and analysis is you guys, Jimmy and I just yell. But that's fine.
I'll
It's
take
actually
it.
become a therapy for me, literally lifting my spirits, much needed. Thank you, James Lyons.
This is the first time. It's been a long time since we've had a panic
This is how
show.
it began. I
Yeah.
was everybody's. I feel like I was a lot of people's therapist in COVID.
It does feel
during
like we're
COVID.
back in 2023, down 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine they go down
You
3-0
failed 'cause
here?
everyone's crazy now.
Yeah.
I failed. Celtics in 7.
Yeah, kid.
Doors.
Doors.
Let's stick by our squad. Doors.
Keep them
kid.
doors open.
You think the C's are missing Van Gundy? What? David
What?
Tempkin?
Don't just.
That is
What are we gonna go back to?
the night.
Eric, John, play our messages. Love you, but come on. I know there's a lot of them, Eric. I'm trying.
That's John's.
Here's one for Noah, the Aggie way. I really like Noah. She brings that fire. Got that dog in her.
Got
Got that dog. Parrish Duggar. This might be the third. The dumbest thing is to not respect your opponent.
Yeah.
The Boston fan base and media have a big role in this series, Bobby.
That's me,
Damn it,
that's
Bobby.
me.
Why'd you predict them to sweep, Bobby? You blew it.
I didn't see this during the year. I really didn't.
You ruined everything, man.
Bobby,
Hey, you guys,
Bobby.
you guys all picked the Celtics too. Give me a break.
I know.
My
That one
prediction's
extra
still
game that
alive.
we gave New York is giving us so much cover right now.
I mean that prediction's out the window. Who predicted 5? Noah.
I predicted
Sherrod,
6.
did you have 5?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you guys,
Bobby, this isn't about us. This is
Jimmy
about
and I are
you.
alive. No matter what, we win. We've won. Ours is closer
Ours
to
is
right.
closer. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
true.
it's true.
All
No
right,
matter
Eric.
Unless they
what.
lose.
You're all
This year.
eliminated. Eric Polanco, Jimmy.
Eric, last one for the day from Eric. By the way, thanks, Eric. Are you guys mad or are you worried or both? Good night. Love you guys. That's from Eric. Good night, Eric. If you're listening tomorrow, we're going to answer this right now. Bobby, are you mad, angry, both, panicked? What is it? Where are you in the panic meter?
I'm concerned. That's what I'm saying. Because
Ooh, the concern.
under normal circumstances, like everything's equal, everyone's healthy. I'm feeling okay about their chances to get back into a series like this. But we've said it all year. They're so limited in depth that if Porzingis can play 13 minutes, that if Hauser can play 0, it just puts even more pressure on Tatum, Brown, and particularly Horford. So I think you're going to have to get more creative with lineups. I think you're going to have to try to integrate Pritchard and Cornette because they both played really well in this series so far. I know it's tough to fit both of them in there and pull another guy off the floor, but you probably are going to have to think about getting outside your comfort zone now, because if you just keep rolling out double big, a little bit of Porzingis in each half, and make Tatum and Brown play these entire games, I don't know if that's going to be the formula to get back in this.
Noah, concerned, angry, panicked. Just real quick, rapid fire answer from Noah.
I'm definitely not angry. Yeah, it's not the emotion that comes to mind,
You're
but I
not
think
angry?
because who would I be angry at?
I don't know. It's okay.
Me.
Them. They're gonna ruin our
Always.
summer.
No, I mean, obviously, like nobody wants them to be eliminated in the second round. Like
That would suck.
yeah, it would suck.
Where are
Like,
you in
I'm
the
not
panic
gonna-
meter? That's a better question.
Panicked. Like
Oh.
the odds are against them. Like
Can
that's-
we
He's
rebuild
fully
the panic
fielded.
meter?
We might need to. Noah might have to be in the
Because
far
here's the
right.
thing. I mean, like, listen, again, this stat that I hope is right. 3 teams have done it in NBA history, right?
Things have changed so much though with how the playoffs
yeah,
are
but
going
still,
this year.
and when a team goes down 3-0, you always want to say this could be the time that somebody does it, but
They're
still
not
nobody's
down
done it. Right?
3-0.
I know, but
So where are you?
John.
It's herself.
She's in the John
John.
territory.
She's fully John right now. Oh
I'm
my
John. I don't
God.
like how it feels.
You do not want to ever say I'm in John territory right now. You do
John,
not.
this
wanna
is the
ever-
life you lead.
Bad. This is how I am all the time.
This is baseline
No,
for him.
I'm not. I'm not that guy.
I love this.
Everybody knows it.
I
Everybody
wanted to see, because we did the pregame show and Noah said if they lose,
I'm holding to my word.
I love it.
What did she
I don't
say?
know. I don't know how I feel yet.
We got
I
a
think
few
the game-
more. We got
Whoever
a few
wins
more.
this game wins the series. That's how
Okay.
I felt.
All right,
She
Kenneth
did say
Lamb.
that. Yep. So
How do you
confused.
Kenneth Lamb
Jimmy?
is screaming.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Nobody cares about me. I'm so confused. Did you guys not watch Porzingis in the second half, or only
He
the
was
first?
okay.
He was good in the second.
I
0
wouldn't
for
say
it
he was
and 1 on Hart, 3-pointer, rolled for a dunk. They should have went back to him. That's from Kenneth Lamb. Kenny.
Maybe they couldn't.
But Porzingis himself said he's not right. It's
Yeah.
you know.
Which is sad.
The most
I
concerning
did
thing
this
with
one,
him
Jimmy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You did this
is that
one.
like
Got it.
he really seems like he's revving himself up to even get in the game. Like he's on the floor, like doing like high knees and just like something looks way off. It's not a good, pretty sight.
Ron Dewan. Don't want Smart over Drew. That's supposed to be Drew J.R.U.E. Saying we
Drew's
need
been great.
dogs.
Yeah. I am curious what everybody thinks the guy who has to go in the offseason is after this playoff series, but that'll
Oh,
be an
God.
interesting
Yeah.
conversation.
Again.
Because it was Holiday coming in. Roland again, Celtics in 6. Time for the Knicks fans to put their paper bags on. I got to take this one. Yaped de Evro, Steven Sakturis. Huge
Oh, boy,
fan
here we
from
go.
Greece. It's 7 a.m. here in Greece. I can't sleep. I'm pretty confident that we will come back. No way we shoot that bad again.
That's
and
a
the
big
last
thing
one
right now.
is just a donation with nothing. We got through them all. I apologize for
Christian.
ripping through them, but we do promise if you deliver a super chat here on the Garden Report, we are going to
This is a
put it
record
on the
for
screen and
Super
talk
Chats,
about it.
too, by the way.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody.
By the way, we put a poll up. Can the Celtics come back from 2-0? What are the results, guys? What do you think?
57
Probably leaning
yes,
no.
43 no.
57-43. What do you guys think?
I'm with
I think it's
Sherrod.
probably leaning no.
Probably leaning no, like 60-40 no.
51-49, yes. It started higher.
Wow.
It
Came back.
it has come. It came
Positive
back.
chat.
It came back down to that. It started
I
56
think Noah, you know what it was? Noah's Twitter account, when she jumped on, I think all the Celtics homers jumped on with her, and they all started pumping it to Celtics side.
By the way, Oklahoma City won by 45 points tonight.
Damn.
I saw that.
They had
Wasn't
87
worried
at the
about
half,
them.
I think. Something insane like that.
So they bounced back from their game one.
That would have been nice, right?
Wouldn't
For the
that have been?
Celtics
Yeah,
to do
wouldn't
something
that have
like
just
that.
been like? We'd
So
all be in
here's-
bed. We'd be in bed.
Here's the biggest reason everyone should feel okay, and they're not going to want to hear it, is that the shooting is going to come up. They're at what, 29 for the series? Something like that. They're not going to stay below 30 for the series. Even if they get to 35, like they lost this game by 1. They lost last game by 3.
3.
How much did they lose by? 3.
Hmm.
So that goes up to even 33. Like there's just a dramatic difference there. And again, that's not the whole ball game right now. And they are making some big offensive mistakes in other areas, but they are missing a lot of open threes.
I mean, you think that that is going to balance out.
Why did you have to whisper that?
Yeah, I was thinking that too, Bobby. Why did you whisper that one to us?
Because I'm nervous about it.
He doesn't want to put out terrible energy again.
They
so.
are missing a lot of threes. Don't
Again.
tell John.
Are we?
My biggest concern, I think, for this team is not what they are capable of. It's more about what I don't think the Knicks are going to do.
You think the Knicks are really like? You think the Knicks are controlling the series right now, and you have confidence in that continuing?
To zip, Bobby.
No, but
Yeah.
like you're not putting it on the Celtics blowing it. Like you think.
I think the Celtics are going to put up a real fight here. I don't expect them to go out to Madison Square Garden and lose, get blown out 2 games in a row. But when you have to do these improbable things, it takes 2, right? It takes the team that's going to make the comeback, and it takes the team that's going to concede it. And so I believe in the team that's going to make the comeback. I do think the Celtics have it in the locker room. They have the talent. They have the experience. They have. I think they have a lot of the pieces. Like I buy what Jaylen Brown was selling post game. My concern is more on the other side.
I think of it like this though: the Knicks did 2 improbable things twice, coming back from 20.
Yeah.
So like, are they going to have to do that again 2 times at home? Like I don't
Listen,
even care about
the
them.
deep playoff runs. You have these magical moments. Tyrese Halliburton's had 2 of them already. The Knicks have had 2 of them. Like that's how you get places. When you go back to that Indiana series last year, it was just a series of improbable events.
There were a lot of injuries on that Knicks
Yeah.
side though, even bigger than what the Celtics.
No, I mean
are
the
dealing
Celtics.
with.
The Celtics
Oh,
Indiana
okay,
series.
yeah.
What the Celtics were able to do was a series of improbable events that lined up, and I just think this Knicks team kind of has that right now. That's my concern.
I'm holding on to some belief here. Like the shooting, the fact that you're up 20 in both of these games, the injuries scare the hell out of me, but I just don't think they're going to go out like this. Like this is going to go long. We're going to be back here for
This
a
is
game 7.
uncharted territories for this Boston group.
You have Celtics in
core.
7 now.
I'm not making a pick tonight. I just don't think they're going out
Or
like
you think
this.
we're going to be back here for 7? You said
6-7, yeah. Like there's going to be
All
a
right.
6-7 game series.
Let's aim for 5, just to make sure that we get that one because that one's important. For sure. We've been going on one of the longest Garden Reports we've done. This feels like draft coverage. Holy crap. We've been going for a while.
God.
Yeah, insane. So we are going to wrap a little bit. Quick shout out once again to our friends over at Prize Picks. Best time to get involved here if you want to get in on the action with the basketball playoffs underway. Also, you have hockey playoffs, and you've got professional baseball going, professional soccer, plenty of things you can look at. Pick 2 or more. Your favorite teams, your favorite players. You don't even have to like them, but win up to 1,000 times your cash. Download the app, promo code CLNS for new users. You play 5, you get 50 instantly. Your account don't have to win, doesn't matter. Just play 5, 50 cha-ching, right into your account when you sign up for Prize Picks today. Prize Picks, run your game. We say thank you so much for the super chats all game long. You don't have to give us any more. It's too many. Stop it. We don't want any more.
We're giving them back.
What we will say,
we got one.
Subscribe. We've got podcasts here. Jimmy's covering my promo, but that's cool.
That's okay.
Subscribe to You Got Boston with Noa, available on CLNS Media. She's going to be doing one as well after this game, unless there's another fire alarm. Subscribe to the Big 3 podcast with Sherrod, Blakely, Gary Washburn, and Kwani A. Lunis, also available here at CLNS Media. You can also check out all of Sherrod's written work on his Substack. And again, support us and subscribe to the entire CLNS Media Network. Here on YouTube, turn on your notifications. That way you'll know when a new video drops. We go live after every game for hours and hours and hours. That's just what we do. We do appreciate you guys hanging out with us here. And that's that. Guys, I want to ask you the last question. Noah, you talked about body language and the vibe that you were seeing on the bench. I think that's a really interesting observation that like it felt like they felt like they were losing it, which is weird for a team that's overcome adversity, won a title, been here before. And we said one of the great things about this team entering the playoffs was that they're the veterans. They're the grown-ups. They're the team with the experience and the playoff experience. So weird to see it like that. What was your vibe talking to them? Press room, locker room, all of that stuff. I've never seen KP that defeated. Even Brown seemed like he was holding back a little bit. And again, I don't know how much you can read into it, but the vibes were not awesome.
Pritchard got out of there fast.
What did you
look really unhappy?
Yeah.
I mean, Porzingis was in a expectedly he was in a mood that I've never seen him in, that I never knew he was capable. And he was really really somber,
really down.
And I think it's twofold, right? It's what he's personally going through and understanding the ramifications of that, and then also the position they find themselves in. I thought Jaylen And honestly, Joe too, were calm and poised and obviously their experience with media. Jaylen in particular has been in more difficult moments, right? And he's always handled himself. But if anything, that does give me a little bit of faith that those guys at the top are going to be able to kind of recollect here. And at the end of the day, like, it does feel like, I don't have a lot of confidence in their ability to come back here, but they're still one of the teams that has a chance, right? And I think that there's a certain level of, they've come down from 3-0. You could sense that they feel like there's still an opportunity here to do something really difficult. So I believe Jaylen when he kind of reiterated that.
What do you think of Porzingis saying that the pressure shifts over to the Knicks now too? I thought that was.
I think he was just yapping a little. Honestly, I don't know if there's much significance.
That's a cliche. However, if the Knicks lose Game 3, the pressure is absolutely on, because then you lose 4 and you.
No, they have to win the series now.
Squandered everything. So that third game is obviously. I know Noah said tonight's winner wins the series. I'm not going to go as far as to say Celtics win Game 3, they win tomorrow, but everything changes completely if they do. So, because again, it wouldn't be stunning if you split at home and you go lose Game 3 on the road. 2-1 on the road is not crazy. It's just thinking about you've lost your margin for error.
It's a long series now.
You can't have a bad shooting game. You can't endure them having a lights out shooting game. You just don't have very many other. You have to play perfect. Almost perfect the rest of the way, so it is tough.
Yeah, and you just haven't been down much in this series. You've lost 2 massive leads. Like, there's not. What should make you feel good is there's not can they win a game?
No,
sort of
definitely not.
Like, they're just in total control of these games, and
they're amazing on the road. They were one of the best road teams in NBA history. Like, that gives you some.
There's very little beyond the injuries and the illness here that make you say, ooh. Like, they can't do this. Like, they can absolutely do this. There's no reason to think that they can't do this. Like, they have everything they need. They've been in a great position in these games, and they've just squandered it. So that's why, like, I agree with you to some degree that the Knicks have really risen to the moment in key spots here and taken these games. But I do feel like the Celtics have been way more complicit in these collapses than that is the case here. Like, it's obviously both, but I think the Celtics have just slowed down, made really distracting moves like that Robinson thing today that I can't get over, and even the lineup decisions and some stuff like that down the stretch, the late game, play calls, stuff like that can all be fixed here, and there's not a big margin for error.
They should bring you into the locker room.
But then, like, we watched this 3 when they're down 3-0, and we all just said this is a disaster, this is over, and then the shooting came back up and they went to a Game 7. So. Like, I'm getting deja vu a little bit here, but the Porzingis thing worries the crap out of me. What we saw out there with him today was really concerning, and Hauser doesn't look like a guy who's going to be back.
He barely stood up.
Yeah.
You want to know, you guys are talking about Celtics being the best road team. This is going to be maybe the biggest road game of all of their careers. It's going to be the
atmosphere in there.
It's going to be the craziest road game that I imagine you guys have ever been a part of. I mean, we're talking Madison Square Garden. I said it earlier in the show. This is the biggest game in Madison Square Garden in 30 years, and I'm not even exaggerating.
They're probably going to let some extra people in, just stand in the hallways.
The get-in price on Game Time for this game is $664. That's the get-in price. So this
was a lot cheaper before they won the 2 games.
I'm sure it was, but everyone's fired up for this game in New York City.
Yeah.
If the Celtics are the best road team, they're going to have to prove it on Saturday. This is their biggest test.
Yeah, and we'll be back with another Garden Report, of course, on Saturday. I do want to say shout out to the chat. Many of you have been here literally each second of our 2 hours and 47 minutes that we've been on the air here.
2 hours and 40.
That's how long we've been going. A long, long time. Thank God for the 7 o'clock game, because I'd be dead right now. But we've been going long and strong here. We endured a fire alarm. We didn't get a Tatum press conference. That's probably what kept us awake and alive.
They are practicing tomorrow, though, so I'd assume we'll hear from them tomorrow.
We'll definitely hear from Tatum.
They are practicing. We're going to hear from Jason Tatum tomorrow. But there's still 19,000 people watching this on all our platforms right now, including YouTube and Twitter. A ton of people out there in a lot of different places, peaking at around 4,000 people on YouTube at one point. So an insane audience coming in here. Plenty of Knicks fans came in to dunk on Celtics fans in the early going, and that's okay.
They were sad to start this series.
sad losers. You're all losers. I don't think there's any of you left. You're losers.
Could one Knicks fan stand up before the series and say they had a chance? Like, I had to hype, that guy up outside. Like,
Bobby, you did too much hyping. That was the
We
problem.
spent 20 seconds outside of TD Garden and concluded that 0 Knicks fans had any hope in their team ahead of the series.
No, my friends, people online, like no one had any faith in this team among the Knicks fans. So it was sad, but you know what? Now's your chance to get excited.
Yeah. But thank you to everybody. Thank you for you guys for toughing it out down at the Garden, going inside, outside. We did a fun little thing tonight. We'll probably do a little bit more of it, which is a live interactive pregame show that I popped in on for a little bit, but Bobby and Noah will be holding it down in New York. As long as it's safe. No, it'll be fine. Bringing in some fans, talking to some people. There's going to be some really bullish Knicks fans. See if you can find some Celtics fans out there as well. So tune in for that pregame show.
I hope you see a hard hat out there.
That's going to be on Saturday at 3:30. So it'll be nice daylight.
I think
Amit's
hiring some security, so we'll be good.
It'll be there too. Rich LeMay, again, yeoman's effort from those two guys. Got to give a shout out to Bailey Kennedy behind the scenes as well, who's been holding it down, on the clock all day long, producing the show for us. Thanks, Sherrod. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Noah. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, you guys. Celtics are down 0-2. Only Noah is worried. The rest of us feel pretty good.
What is that? Is that the conclusion?
Huh?
I don't know how these three feel.
This is the conclusion that only I'm worried. No,
Only
I
Noah's
actually don't
panic.
even know how the others feel.
No,
Okay, I'll.
We're not. We're fine. They win game 3.
Okay.
They win game 3.
Hey, don't let us
No,
win
they
game
don't.
3.
Don't let us win
let
one,
us
kid.
win Game 3.
Don't
They're
let
not
us
down
win
0-3.
one.
They're down 0-2.
I kind of want to go 3
they'll
hours,
be
but I'm
okay.
not going to do it. We're not going to do it.
We're
Kinda
not going
wanted
to do
though.
it. Sherrod will kill us. If we do.
Sherrod
I
will
won't
kill
kill
us.
you. Jimmy, I'd kill. The rest.
Wait, I just want to
survive. Jimmy,
clarify.
I
If
will
we
kill
have,
you.
He's
we have
tried
a
to kill
minute
me
to
for
spare
less.
here.
All right,
I'm the
Noah
only
and
one
Bobby.
that's
We'll see you guys later.
Nice.
Good night.
There she is, the panic
No.
queen,
What
everybody.
is it, Noah? Are you calm yet? Are you ready to give a non-hysterical
field.
prediction?
She's had the field
I
for
wasn't
6 months.
hysterical.
Oh, we're kidding. We're kidding.
hysterical.
Full blown panic.
Sorry
Panic
that I
mode.
saw that devastating stat before I jumped on.
You
that
said
there
you
was
were
3
John.
teams.
There's nothing worse than
You
that.
can't come back from that.
Sometimes it's okay to be.
By the
John.
way,
once in a while.
the Thunder winning tonight ended a 12-game road team win streak in this postseason. So
Damn.
road teams are on fire, and now the Celtics will be a road team.
Oh, a little spin.
Woo.
Perfect timing for them to restart that streak. What do you think? Wait, real quick. No, I'm not even going to start. I'm not even going to do it.
No,
I'm
I
good.
want to know.
No, it was John would be pissed.
No, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was going to literally ask what you guys
You want to
thought.
talk
of it.
Red Sox?
I don't give a
No.
shit. We're going 3 hours now. I don't care. It's 2:50.
I was going to ask you guys what how you felt about the Cavs Pacers series because the Cavs are now looking at an 0-2 hole. They're playing a Pacers team that's got a ton of momentum. Halliburton's shot last night was legendary, and it was one of the
Similar.
most epic collapses that I've seen in recent memory. The way that the Cavs, what is it, 8 points in like 45 seconds?
This wasn't much prettier, but yeah. The Cavs are in much bigger trouble because Mobley's out and Garland's out and doesn't seem close to coming back. And who's the third guy who's out right now?
Hunter.
DeAndre Hunter.
There. So, I mean, they have 3 starters out basically. That's a much different situation than the Celtics are in here. So I don't have great faith in them turning it around. And I think they're playing a better team than the Celtics are here too. So I think it is going to be the Pacers moving on. I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah, I mean, they choked one away in this game, and I don't think they have the margin. I think right now I'd pick the Pacers and the Knicks advance, but if a team is, the Celtics are way better poised to come back from this deficit. So yeah, I'm not believing in the Cavs right now.
Kind of crazy.
It's crazy.
Everybody thought that Cavs Celtics Eastern Conference Finals felt so inevitable.
Aaron Nesmith, though. I mean,
Oh my God.
We're gonna
What
do
a
the last.
guy.
We're gonna do the last 8 minutes on Nesmith. I might mention Romeo too, but go ahead, Bobby.
Oh, don't do it. Don't mention Romeo.
I mean, he's
did.
become a phenomenal player. He does a smart play late in that game. He's scoring 20 points. He's
got a motor.
Flying in for rebounds from the 3-point line, which
The
I've
best
never
thing
really
is he's
seen
flying in
before.
for rebounds and not landing on his hip,
Yeah.
because that's what he used to do here, where he'd just go flying in for something and then literally go completely horizontal and then fall from 10 feet down to the ground.
He's
and
not
now
like
like everybody with
anymore.
now he's getting them and dunking them. Yeah.
We really liked him, and it was
No,
so
you didn't.
frustrating how he looked here. I loved him. Like, he just wasn't playing well.
Did you guys like him or not?
I wanted to trade him.
I advocated very hard for playing him a
We
lot
wanted
more.
them to play. Yes.
But
Yes.
he just was so bad here, John. It was.
I
It
know.
wasn't a good- It wasn't a good fit for him. I mean, he
Yeah.
just
Sometimes
wasn't-
you need to just get to the right situation.
Because Tatum and Brown didn't talk to him.
Well,
Yeah,
he
they had
just
separate
really?
I
locker
didn't
rooms.
even know who they were.
They
The
were like in
role-
the junior room.
He
Yeah.
just wasn't ready
You had
for
the
the role they
senior
needed
room
him
and
to
the
He was a
junior room.
tourist.
You can tell Brown
Remember
didn't
who
want
told
to stay
us
with them.
that?
I don't know.
Who told
Remember,
us
I
there
wanted
were
to ask
separate
him in our
locker rooms?
interview if Jason Tatum knew his name, but I kind of chickened out when we talked to him.
Yeah, me and John had him on the Garden Report.
The New
That was
Balance
fun.
interview,
Yeah. I was like, does Tatum, like, what does he say to you? Does he say anything to you? I was kind of trying to coax it out of him because, like, they never passed to him, like, ever.
There was like
That
this
was a
guy
tough
standing in the
time.
corner that they just refused to acknowledge as a teammate, and until he was traded.
But we don't call them the Neesmith years. We call them the Tristan Thompson years. In terms of the era. Bobby's guy.
Unfortunately,
I'll wear that one
I
too.
love the signing, and it
Oh yeah,
completely
but
blew up in
Noah,
my face.
Noah, you have to learn your Garden Report history.
Well, can you guys send me down and just run it through, run
Yeah.
me through it? Because
So me
I'll
and
write up
Bobby
a memo.
loved the Tristan Thompson signing. We thought he was going to bring like leadership to the squad, like a winning mentality.
He was a champion.
Played with LeBron.
No, he was on a roster
No,
that
he just
won a
wanted to
championship.
party.
And then he said
He literally
they were
just wanted to party.
500, like 3/4 of the way through the year, and he said, "Oh, all these other teams, when they play us, it's the biggest game of the year. We're playing for something bigger." And then they go out in the round 1, 4-1.
Yeah.
It was the worst quote I've heard in 5 years.
He was like, yeah.
And he was brutal. He was
And
brutal.
he was probably out until 3 a.m. that night partying after the loss too, 100%.
All right. 5 minutes left. What do you guys want to do with this time as we try to
We're really
get to our
doing
3
this?
hours? Of
Yeah,
course
we're gonna
we
do
are.
it. Yeah,
Not
we'll
only
do it.
I've had Amit build like a New Year's Eve confetti drop. I
I love it. I
didn't.
mean,
at this point, it would fit this evening.
Can you guys just Noah asked you, can you explain where you're at, each of you? Like,
yeah, I don't understand. Like we were about to log off with me being the only panicked one, and I find that hard to believe.
okay.
like is the series over for each
we
of
can-
you?
I don't think the
I'm not
series
saying
is
it's
over
over,
by
for
any
the record.
stretch. I still think the Celtics are going to win the series. Still do.
Okay.
I think that, as you guys have pointed out on multiple occasions, the margins are relatively close, and the Celtics have played nowhere close to how good they can be. Simply put,
Yep.
the Celtics are not taking advantage of the things that they do well. They're not, frankly, sticking to the script. They're figuring out how to put the Knicks in a major hole game after game. They're just not allowing that script to play out to its completion. I think that'll happen in New York because, one, this team tends to play a little bit bigger, a little bit better when the stage is a little bit brighter. Two, the Knicks understand that they were gifted a couple of wins. I give them credit for hanging close and doing the things you got to do to get over the hump. But at some point, the Celtics are just going to finish them off and not allow them to get back in the game. And I think it's going to start with game 3.
How about you, Jimmy?
had to run that to see where I wanted to make sure I was where I thought I was. I'm where I am on the panic meter, so I'm not quite John Zannis level. Thank God, I might be able to sleep tonight. I'm very close. I mean, and honestly, like obviously on Saturday, if things go south for Boston, I'm off. I'm way off the meter. The meter's spinning like this. It's over. So maybe I should be more panicked. I am acknowledging that the Celtics are in a bad spot right now. I have not been impressed with a lot of things. I acknowledge that they have the ability to go up 20, but I'm also very aware of the fact that just as quickly they can turn into a completely different team, get complacent, and they've allowed the Knicks to believe that they are the better team. They've allowed the Knicks to believe that they have a puncher's chance. They've allowed the Knicks to believe that they can advance. And once you allow a bad team to believe something different about themselves, they're no longer a bad team anymore. So the Celtics being a 10.5-point favorite going into tonight was ridiculous. I don't think you're going to see anything close to that the rest of
What's
this
the odds
series.
on the series now?
I don't know. I haven't looked
Ask
at that.
Porzingis.
But I am
Who's
panicked
the guy?
because it's not so much I'm panicked because, oh, wow, the big bad Knicks. It's the fact that the Celtics just do not look put together. They just look out of sorts. They don't look like they're playing inspired basketball from the top down, the very top down. And so I don't really have a lot of reason to believe in this team right now. So until I see them win a game, I have no reason to believe in them. So I'm very close to John Zannis level panic. I really should be there.
I'm the least panicked, by the way, but that's okay.
Very, very tip of my own.
You're the
panic
least?
meter.
We're never on the same page, John.
Celtics in 6.
I'm not.
That's a good thing, Noah.
Here's the thing. The only thing that panics me, actually, I wasn't even Porzingis' play tonight. It was how Porzingis talked after, like he's
That's so sad.
He's so sad. I've never seen
It's
him like
so
that.
concern-
And
and
that
you
was
know-
the thing that hit me the hardest. I was like, not because I'm like also sad, but like he's so upbeat and he's so whatever. And you'd rather hear like, look, it wasn't great, but I feel like I'm trending in the right direction. It'll be okay. But he looked like he was resigned to shit, man.
Well, he said it might get better.
Maybe.
Well, I think he feels like his health is failing him right now. And like,
Yeah.
I can imagine being a prime NBA athlete and like, it's not an injury.
Yeah.
It's literally your health.
I broke down at the worst time. That's his vibe. He's like, he's so upset about it. So if he doesn't come back, it's a challenge because of the thing Bobby mentioned without Hauser, you're really, really, really thin. I
And
still
they don't
think-
want to go other guys.
I
don't
still think
they're
you're
gonna-
due for a Tatum game. I do believe in the change of scenery, road warrior mentality. I do feel pretty good about game 3. We'll see what kind of happens after that. There's little margin for error, but I don't, again,
The shooting's going to come around, John.
it's whether it
is.
comes around or not. The Knicks either haven't been that good or aren't that good. There's some things that they're doing that are knocking the Celtics off their game. Normally, we always, as analysts of one team, and when they lose, what did they do wrong? And when they win, they're the best. And we never say the other team, give them credit. I'll give the Knicks some credit for throwing them off their game some, but not that much. I'm really not like super.
OG deserves a lot of credit.
OG
He's
deserves
the
a lot of
guy.
credit, but for the most part, like Brunson was bad tonight. Towns friggin' almost fouled himself out of game 1. Like they haven't been super. Bridges sucked all game except for
Did
one
you say he has
quarter.
0 until the 4th?
He had 0 until the 4th. He had
Wow.
14 in the 4th.
Yeah. So
14 uninterrupted, like 0 resistance.
yeah. So like, and again, they haven't been. They're not like striking fear in you as well. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not like if you'd lost 2 in a row and you're like, I don't know how they're coming back against this team.
Please
but
don't
it's
be
not.
scared of Robinson next game. Just
Yeah.
let him play.
Is that going to be your post game story?
No, but like
You
it's
do
just
get
drove me nuts.
fixated.
He's
do.
brought it up
It's a
a
valid
few
story.
times.
It's a valid story if it is.
Tim
Somebody's
said
throwing.
before the game, I asked him, what do you think of them fouling Robinson? And he was like, it's great. We get into the bonus. We can set
Well,
our defense. We can.
He would say that even if he didn't mean it. I think.
Yep, he would.
I think. Anyway, we do have
Did
to
it.
wrap it, I'm
We
afraid,
did.
but we did hit 3 hours. So congratulations to all of us. We did it. Bobby and Noah amazingly are going to keep talking about basketball. I'm going to shut it down for 3 days. But
Me too.
you're going to get a lot more stuff tonight, tomorrow. Stay with us here at CLNS Media. We've got you covered.
Saturday.
Bobby and Noah and Amit and Rich are hitting the road, going to New York. So they'll have full coverage there as well. Celtics, we expect to practice tomorrow. So we'll hear a little bit more
We need
from them.
Celtics fans in Boston and New York, John.
We need vibes tomorrow, guys. We need to know what the vibes are like. So that's what you guys are going to give us. Again, hats off to everybody who stayed in on our side, the guys at the Garden. Again, one more shout out and thank you to everybody out there who watched us all the way through. The Celtics lose 91-90. They blow their second straight fourth quarter 20-point lead. It hurts to say it. They're down 2-0 to the Knicks. Wow, in this
Crazy.
we will see you guys on Saturday. No one's sneaking a vegan brownie by me, I'll tell you
Okay, you know what, John? We're going to do it.
You have to feel that way too, Bobby.
I have
Say
to
it.
feel
You
that
said
way.
it.
Let's fight out over and make Luke your first center.
Bobby, we gave you Luke hour early. We are not going to end this on a damn conversation about Luke